Jeff. Yeah, brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we now have an enormous Jeff.
Can we just become like observers, and you just tell us a story of giant Jeff?
I might have, I might have to, figure something out. Throw it at the GM.
Oh Jesus!
Okay.
I don't even know
So-
how I did that.
Did you? Well, I'm assuming you dragged your character from the journal onto the map, which I didn't think you could do, but apparently you can. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Right. Is everybody ready?
I am.
Oh no.
Okay. I have leveled you all up, so you've all got your extra HP. You've all got some new abilities, which are on your character sheet. So you probably might want to go and look through those before the next encounter. Phil and Tom, you both have an extra spell you can ready.
Mm-hmm.
I
think I've already done that with you.
Okay. I think.
Can I unready an old spell and
Yeah.
and
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. The only time you can't do that is if we're active. If you're actively doing something and we can't say you're going to take a rest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Right.
Oh, before we start as well, I would like to pull our magic-using dwarf aside and point out to him that the dagger that we obtained from the stolen goods, is probably not diseased and was actually quite a nice dagger and proven to be a +1 magical one. And as you are a dagger user, probably best in your hands rather than mine.
Cool.
Oh, you're gonna hand that off then.
I'm gonna hand that over to him, and I shall subtract it from my character sheet.
Okay. So it's just a +1 dagger.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I had it marked down as anyway.
Yeah.
All right, how do I get rid of the damn thing?
You need to unlock your
It's the unlock button first.
And then you can delete it.
Delete it, and then lock it back up so I don't accidentally delete something else.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do I just give it a name like Fancy Dagger?
+1 dagger.
Yeah, just call it +1 dagger.
Give it a name. Think of something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can name it, but yeah.
Call it Bob.
Bob the dagger.
Sounds
Chelsea.
good.
Call it Chelsea.
Chelsea's good.
Yeah.
Arkenthorpe.
There you go.
Is that a Fratelli's reference or?
Yes, it is.
It
is
is.
a Fratelli's reference. There
Okay.
Nice. I'm gonna nick that one.
Sorry, I'm nicking it. It gave you it.
Oh no, that's right. I was a bit worried because my map was being a bit pixelated, and then it finally grew in.
Yeah, it does the old 90s low res version and then load a higher res version. Yeah.
Can we go through and maybe discuss between us what new things we may have bringing to the party? I don't know if you guys want to do that or whether you just want to find out as we go along.
As we go along, it's more fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Fair enough.
Okay, so I'll start off with a summary of the journey so far. You were hired by the leader of Palebark Village, Elro Aldator, to investigate the source of a mysterious illness which had claimed the life of a village resident. You persuaded the dwarf named Tulgi Lutan to allow you access to her home and confirm the information that you were given that she was indeed infected. Tulgi is a member of a band of bandits working for the Utalot crime family from Shady Creek Run, far to the south of the Greying Wildlands. Tulgi was keeping an eye on adventurers returning from Isle Cross in order to relieve them of anything of great value they might be returning with. Noting that Ergon Wenth had recently come into a large amount of gold after selling some finds to Pelk, a local merchant who deals with unique and valuable items. Tulgi broke into Pelk's curiosities 2 weeks ago and helped herself to Ergon's finds. Among them were 2 blue glass vials. She passed most of these items to her sister Hulgi, who is sheltering with the rest of the band in Croker Cave. Tulgi has now come down with the same illness which struck down Ergon. You travelled to the north of the village to Croaker Cave and did battle with the local ice frogs and a small group of bandits. Deep within the cave, you discovered Hulgi Lutan and found that she also had become infected. From Hulgi, you learned that the source of this illness was the blue glass vials, which contained an ancient Aeorian weapon known as Frigid Woe.
Not suitable for children.
As you found out later. Hulgi tells you that the one remaining vial of Frigid Woe was sold to a trader in Palebank village called Irvin Leal in order to finance a return to Shady Creek Run in the hopes of finding a cure there. However, the symptoms of the Frigid Woe had progressed to the stage where she believes that she will not survive the journey back. You agreed that in return for the items that were stolen, you would return to Hulgi should you discover a cure. You returned to Palebank village and located Irvin Leal in the Jolly Dwarf Inn with his husband and children. With Elro present, you informed Irvin of your findings and confirmed that his entire family had been in contact with the vial. Because of this, the family were taken into quarantine by the local priests. The next morning, Elro returned to the Jolly Dwarf and confirmed that the vial containing the Aeorian weapon contained the Aeorian weapon Frigid Woe, and there is a record of a cure to this disease in the form of a milky white liquid stored in gold vials. Elro pays you the 100 gold promise for discovering the cause of this disease and asks if you would be willing, for a further reward of 200 gold, to travel to Islecross and retrace Ergon's travels, as he hopes that the cure can be found in the same area as the original vials. You are to meet Elro at the docks the following morning, where a ship has been arranged to take you to Sylrinya, the Orthodurnian outpost in Islecross's largest island of Foreign, where Ergon was last seen.
Cool.
And that is where we left.
Do we know anything about the local mountain range behind Sylrinya?
You currently know nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
No. You know that it's even more remote and isolated than the Greying Wildlands. The Greying Wildlands, where you are at the moment, is almost settled compared to
Would you describe this area as lawless?
the Greying. Yes. There is where you are in the Greying Wildlands is currently under the auspices of Uthadurn, and the Glassblades are the local militia who are financed by Uthadurn. You don't know what it's like on Foreign where you're going.
Okay.
But yes, you're outside of the sphere of influence of the Dwendalian Empire and
We're out past
Zorhas.
Swansea.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So you've had a rest. You've managed to collect your thoughts and memorize your spells and perform any rituals you want to perform. You're all fully healed.
Yeah.
You were last time you were divvying up the coin you found in Hulgi's purse. So you can each take 83 copper.
Hold on. 83 copper.
64 silver.
64 silver.
And 22 gold.
Okay. Do we need to start worrying about weight?
Not yet.
Okay.
How much gold was that?
22.
How many silver to the gold?
10.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
But
It's
are we?
10, 10, 10, isn't it? Except for Electrum.
Yeah, there was Electrum. Electrum is 5 silver, but that's a BS currency and we're not dealing with that. So copper, silver, gold.
How long will the boat journey take from the dock to?
You don't know yet. You need
Okay.
you need to speak to Elro. You haven't spoken to him yet. He said he would arrange travel, but you haven't had any more. You haven't heard anything more from him yet. You took this information. You went to Pelk's actually after you'd spoken to Erlo before you went to bed, and you did discover Pelk, who you assumed to be Pelk as a frozen ice statue in the back office, and everything else had been taken as you had been told by Thule.
Okay. I'm debating whether or not to. I can basically once a day I can turn any weapon into a +1 weapon for the entirety of that day.
Hmm.
And I'm debating whether our giant friend would like his main weapon upped, given that you're the damage dealer in this party.
Yes. Also, I'm a Goliath, not a giant.
Okay.
Ooh.
You may as well, to be honest, because it's because you can recast that, relearn that every day. So
Yeah,
Yes,
if you want to
exactly.
say as a part of your morning routine, you'll lay hands on
Yeah.
Camley's battle axe.
There you go.
We'll take that as read up until the
Until it
point where
changes.
you want to
Yeah.
change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem. All right. So your battle axe is now +1 for the today
Okay.
until
What does
I die, or another long rest is taken.
what does that do
I
to my cracks?
I believe it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah, but if
So-
I die in the interim, then it disappears as well, I believe.
I
from what
don't know
read.
actually. I'll have to check.
I thought I did, but
Mhm.
yeah. But for the
Yeah.
all intents and purposes, is a +1 magical item.
Yeah.
So what does that do to it?
+1 to
+1 to
hit.
roll?
Yeah, +1 to hit, +1 damage.
Okay.
So just remember when you make a roll, if you miss, just double check you weren't off by 1. And when you do damage, just add 1 onto whatever the dice roll is.
Remembering his fighting style, it's very unlikely he's going to be off by 1.
You know, it happens. Remember, we have a soundboard.
So my current kind of bonus to roll is like +5, so it would essentially be +6,
Yes.
and then I get it's like 1d12 +3, so it would just be 1d12 +4.
+4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Cheers.
Okay.
No problems. That's my job.
So you've all come down to the common room in the Jolly Dwarf for breakfast. You're eating eating the breakfast has been provided, some porridge and some cured meats. What would you like to do?
Well, have a bit of breakfast because we obviously got some travel ahead of us. Do we need any supplies that we could get from this area, guys? Are we all stocked up? I think
we've already got supplies
Yeah.
in our inventory. So
Do we need
I'm
to
ready.
buy anything else? Is there
I
anything
think
else?
I'm ready to go. Unless
I've got this jade statue. I'm wondering whether we want to get this and a ring set with Jasper and a scroll case. I'm wondering if we want to get them valued anywhere, or do we just want to carry them for now?
it's probably better to get them valued in a larger place.
Okay. In that
Yeah.
case,
Bear
they
in
stay in
mind
the bag.
that the big seller in this place is currently a block of ice.
Yeah, fair point. Well made. They stay in the bag.
Yeah, it is. You definitely can sell somewhere like here. It's settled enough that you think you could find somebody to give you some gold for it, but
Okay.
you're going to get less for it here than you would at a bigger settlement.
Okay. Have we identified whether the ring was magical?
You got no when I forget who it was. Somebody cast detect magic, and it wasn't. It didn't show up as
Okay.
magic.
Fine.
The
Great.
arrows.
Okay.
Well, someone's got a quiver of 6+1
our
arrows.
trustworthy friend has the arrows. Yes.
Yeah, this wasn't magic. It was just nice, same as the statuette. You couldn't figure out what the statuette was of, but it wasn't magical.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So do you make your way outside to try and find Elbro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Right. Just as
let's not procrastinate.
just as you're collecting yourselves to go and find him, he actually comes and finds you. Comes in just as you're packing up to leave. Says, hello, gentlemen. Thank you very much for waiting. As you're aware, the sad news is that Irvin and his family have all come down with this frigid woe. So we really are desperate now to try and find this cure.
Just him and the kids.
And his husband as well. Yes, all 4 of them are now showing symptoms. Slight.
Okay.
At the moment, it's only slight marking of the skin and a slight slowness in their actions, but we're aware that this is how the disease progresses. So at the moment they're fine, but we don't know how long this is going to last, and we're aware of.
If we were sort of the timeline that we're sort of semi-aware of people who've caught it, how long before we have kitty sickles?
Well, I
3
wouldn't
days, a
put
week?
it quite so bluntly myself, but we have a number of weeks.
A number of
A
weeks.
number
Okay.
of weeks is what we
Okay.
have seen so far, and the information the priests have managed to find in the archives suggests it progresses over a number of weeks. It is, considering it was made as a weapon, it is very cruel and very slow weapon.
Okay.
I have arranged passage for all of you on a ship called the Remoras, which is currently docked at the harbour. It's a ship that's owned by Uthadern and the Glassblades, and they will take you to Sylrinya, which is our outpost on Foreign. It's the largest island. It's where all of the adventurers go. It is the place where the Aeorian ruins are located, so it's very popular with adventurers looking to find.
Ruins. I perk up at this. Any tales of things buried deep beneath the ground? Are we looking at catacombs?
Absolutely. So, give me a history check, please.
Okay, bear with me.
Okay, so you're aware of the legend of Aeor. Aeor was a flying city that was present during the time of the calamity about 800 years ago. It was a place of great magic, and it was involved in the construction of weapons that were used during the war that was the calamity.
Okay, gents, I officially have a clerical hard-on.
You are. There is very little information as to what actually happened to it, but
Don't care. Yep,
it was a
my
flying
hammer.
city. It ceased to be a flying city at some point. Not very much was known about what actually caused it to stop flying, but within the last decade or so, fishermen that were fishing off the coast of Foreign noticed some things, and when adventurers went in to investigate, they found broken up remains of this city all over the islands of Islecross. So these ruins,
here.
and some of them are very well preserved because of the magical nature of the city, and people have been looking for them ever since, finding
Call me a
these
keener. Oh,
magical
yep.
artifacts and remnants of the calamity.
Yeah, well, my god's into all of that. So this is now a spiritual evangelical mission.
You're doing this for your god, and that's
Oh yeah,
a
God
noble
is on our side, folks.
a noble goal.
It means I can finally pick up this accent, and I can basically heal you all. You shall be healed.
Good lord, he's got evangelical.
Oh,
Hopefully, your god will give you the strength you need to brave the conditions of Islecross.
I got God in my heart.
Once you arrive in Sylrinya, you should get in contact with a dwarf named Orvo Mustave. He's one of the typical adventurers on Islecross, but it is known that he has been on expeditions with Ergon Wenth, and we believe he was on the same expedition where Ergon found the vials. So he will be the best person to talk to find out where these vials currently are, and hopefully
Gents,
you
I'm
can find a
telling you
cure.
now, anything we find of great significance or artifacty type thing, we ain't selling it. Nope, it would be a crime to my god.
Well, I'm sure you can sort that out between yourselves. Thank you
just...
once again. If you make your way down to the docks, the Remoras is currently the only ship docked off the coast. If you find an elf named Alwed Luramaris, he's captain of the Remoras. If you let him know who you are, he will welcome you on board.
Fair enough. How long is the journey?
The journey to Islecross is 9 days.
9 days.
9 days
on a
yes.
boat.
It is a long way. We aren't the closest bit of land in the greying wildlands to Sylrinya.
Peaceful waters? Are we likely to meet pirates or other things in this travels?
Not pirates. No, we're quite good in patrolling our waters. You'll see some fishing boats.
I so smell a sea creature. All right, fair
We,
enough.
we've not seen any pirates, although I won't rule that out. The Empire and Zorhas have also both been interested in the items that have been found on Foreign, so I can't say that you won't come across something, but it's certainly not a common occurrence.
Okay, I'm not comfortable on boats, so I'm going to do the Mr. T bit. I'm not happy about the boat.
You might want to stock up on some mead before you travel then.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to spend my time in the hole, basically drunk.
Whatever
Well,
gets you
fun.
through the trip. Given the magical nature of the area, there have been sightings of things, but so far nothing that has proved to be particularly dangerous. Just strange.
What is the ship they're going to be getting like? Are we talking cabins or are we talking like long ship?
No, it's multi-deck. There are cabins. You will have cabins. You won't be expected to sleep on the deck. Not in this weather. No. The ship is used to transport everything to and from Sylrinya, so there needs to be plenty of capacity for cargo and supplies and adventurers and their equipment.
Cool.
Okay. One other thing before I go. Your Goliath friend probably won't notice, but the climate in Isle Cross is quite extreme. So I would suggest you speak to the quartermaster on the docks and see if you can purchase some cold weather clothes. I wouldn't want to send you out there not being prepared for the conditions.
Are we talking Arctic or are we talking sort of Canada?
What part of Canada? Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cold. It regularly gets below freezing.
Okay.
So yes. Okay,
All
thank you
right.
very much. I will bid adieu. Once you have located the cure, you will find an elf in Sylrinya who is known as the buyer. If you take the cure to the buyer, he has a way of they have a way of getting the cure directly here, and I will authorize him to pay you the reward directly.
Cool. All right. How much are we looking for furs and warm clothing? How much?
I'm afraid I don't deal in the day-to-day mercantile trades. If you have a word with the quartermaster, he'll be able to tell you how much the current rate is for that kind of equipment. He definitely has it.
Okay,
He does quite a good trade supplying adventurers, so he will have any cold weather equipment or any other equipment you may require for the trip.
Okay. Would you recommend mountain climbing gear?
I don't believe it was found in a mountainous region, but
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough.
We can
Cool.
always buy one there. So
Okay.
I think just have some cold winter stuff
Yeah.
whilst we're here. So let's go and hunt some down.
if you want supplies, I would recommend that you do get it while you are here in Palebank. The Sylrinya is a camp. It's not an outpost. It won't have the sort of resources we have here. So if you do want equipment, I would recommend you get it from here. You may be able to barter for equipment once you arrive in Sylrinya, but I won't be able to guarantee what's available or if people will be in a mood to trade with you. So
Okay, let's go shopping then. Our trustworthy friend should know the area quite well. Who's going to give us a decent deal?
Who is there now? Yeki's gone. Not Yeki. That's Phil's username. Our frozen. I don't know where my notebook is today. Oh, there it is. Who have we got fur trappers to go to?
a lot of the people in the area are fur trappers, and that they will sell to the quartermaster. So you know that if you want equipment, you should go and see the quartermaster.
Right. Okay. We'll go to the quartermaster then. Pelk. That was it. Not Yeki. That's wrong name.
Yeah.
Um.
Pelk deals with Well, the name of the shop was Pelt's Curiosities. It was the Aeorian stuff, the magical stuff, the stuff that's interesting. If you want equipment, then you want to get it from the quartermaster down at the docks.
Okay. Just also whilst we're at the quartermaster, I'm just thinking we've got some. Whether it's actually worth buying some stuff to trade and see whether we can make some money on the journey across as well.
So you're making your way down to the docks. You know the quartermaster is a dwarf named Gosmut Coinforge. So do you want to go and find him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go down. Hello there. How are you doing? Can I interest you in some equipment? You look like the kind of people who are after some adventure.
Yeah, we're looking for some furs, if possible, some warm clothing.
With apologies to Aidan. What furs have we got? So you off to Islecross like everyone else?
That's basically where we're headed. Yes, Sylrinya.
Sylrinya, yes. That's where everyone's going from here. So not a surprise. You'll be wanting our standard cold weather equipment. It's nice, good Yeti fur. Got from the trappers just around in the Crystal Sands tundra, just outside Palebark. Really good quality stuff. You'll be getting a cloak. You'll be getting boots. You'll be getting some nice thick woolen stockings. That'll definitely keep you nice and warm.
Gloves.
Gloves, yes, big fur gloves.
Okay.
Yes.
And what will this outfit set us back each?
10 gold pieces each.
Come on, Marvin. I want to pay less than that.
That's 10 gold. Come on.
It's good quality equipment. You'll not find a better.
No.
How about 25 gold for 5?
Well,
no, that's not how that works.
As a DM question, realistically, without cold weather clothing, how will Camney fare? Being relatively resilient to the cold,
with what
wearing clothes that you would typically,
with your current equipment, you will probably be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So from you're basically a Newcastle lad.
Or
let's go with that.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
So.
In the winter.
10 gold. 10 gold for a kit. You get a lot of stuff for your 10 gold, and I've never had any complaints.
How much
is that because everyone's happy?
Ian, how much would I normally expect for cold weather stuff?
10 gold.
Is 10 gold extravagant?
No.
All right, let's cough up the 10 gold each.
I mean, you might find it cheaper somewhere where there's not so much demand, but here there is demand for it.
I try a persuasion roll and fail, and then end up getting charged more. So
if you can give me hang on, let me have a look at what would be best.
I mean, I can intimidate him. I'm pretty good at that.
No, it's not worth intimidating.
Yeah, if someone wants to give me a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the
bard.
Bard.
I actually I get a little bit of a bonus for this, but
I did like the Bard's tactic of negotiating, which was to say, I don't want to pay that much.
Yeah. So okay. So Jeff, what do you actually say to him to try and persuade him to sell you this for cheaper? This will have an outcome.
Jesus Christ, that looks like fucking dogs. I shaved a fucking dog and get more fur from that. Fuck, I'm not gonna pay 10 gold for that shit.
Well, I don't know what the dogs are like where you are from, Mr. Tiefling, but this is certainly the best quality gear that you'll find around here, and 10 gold is the price.
Nah, 8 gold.
No, I'm afraid it's 10 gold.
No, 7 gold.
And he turns to Davil. That'll be 10 gold each.
Enough of this jibber jabber. Let's get on with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll give him 10 gold.
We'll be here forever.
Okay, so whoever wants
want a Yeti that smells like old goat.
Oh no, we launder this all before we sell it. We're not savages.
The money or the fur?
Yes.
This fur's got a shit stain on it, for fuck's sake!
Jeff.
Okay,
Was it
so
there before you bought it?
So we've bought an entire cold outfit. Do we
yeah,
just
you
stick that as
you
one
put down
item?
cold weather gear.
Okay. Putting cold
Just put it down as a single item, but it is a thick fur coat, a pair of thick fur gloves, some thick wooden stockings, and some heavy boots, fur-lined heavy boots. They're all very slightly different colours and pelts, but it's good quality stuff, and it will keep you warm.
Do we need to put a weight on that?
No, not right now. I'm not bothered
Okay.
about weight so far.
Fine. Cool.
I'll get bothered about it when you start hulking around with unreasonably large amounts of gear.
Yeah,
Stick a
2,000
stack in your
gold
pocket.
pieces.
Yeah. Oh, and while we're going on about stuff I get wrong, yes, Camney, you were correct. A short rest, you can use your hit dice to heal up. So when I said last time in the cave that you couldn't get any healing back unless you cast a spell, that's not actually correct. Anyone during a short rest can spend one of their hit dice. You get one per level, and the dice you use is depending on your class, and then you can roll that dice and heal that much. And then
How long is a short rest?
1 hour.
Cool. Okay.
And you get so many hit dice per day up to your level, and then at the end of a long rest you get your hit dice back.
You hit that back.
Actually, you get half your hit dice per level or something. I'll have to look it up, but you get most of them, at your level. You get them back.
Okay. So when you say for the short rest, you can use one of the die. Is that like a?
No, you can spend as many as you want. Actually,
you can use.
Yeah, if you've got 2 now. So if you were badly hurt, you could spend 2 of your hit dice, but then they're done. You won't be able to use them in a subsequent short rest until you've taken a long rest.
Sure.
Okay, so
Didn't mean to do that.
yes, that's it. Hit dice.
It works.
Good example.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all equipped up now. What would you like to do?
I suppose we're going to have to get on this bloody boat.
I'm excited. The sea, the fresh air in our hair.
I feel
We're
slightly
not finished
sick.
Okay, I think I have a handout for this.
A handout?
Yeah,
God.
Roll20 functionality.
God, I have visions of the old games of Paranoia, where we actually had to fill out real forms.
Yeah.
Okay, show. There we go.
No.
There we go. So I've just shown you something. You should be able to see that now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There we go. Art!
Very
Just
slow
yell
loading
art.
on.
Just yelling art. There we go. So
That
you
was
make.
like a really bad album cover.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
D&D. Of course, it looks
Sorry,
like a
the
bad
Drop
album
Off
cover.
Artist hip-hop album.
I would, yeah,
Straight
that's
from
definitely...
Blind Guardian.
Okay, so you make your way down to the docks. You've spoken to the quartermaster of the docks and got your equipment. You can see a ship currently moored up in the docks. You assume it's the Remoras. There's nothing else down there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Hmm.
Getting a look at the crew and the people on the ship, do these people look like more like brigands or sailors and traders?
The people you see some traders on the docks, and you saw some traders dealing with the quartermaster while you were down there. Actually, up on the boat, they look like sailors. You probably wouldn't know what a brigand looks like, but they don't look particularly
way,
rough. They look
are
like
they-
sailors.
Yeah, okay, so we're not talking 5 daggers each. And light leather armor.
No.
Okay.
They're not bristling with weaponry. I mean, all of them have got a knife on them, but that's probably more that's just their standard equipment. You see that.
Stabby.
Well, there's drink involved. I'm sure the stabby will happen at some point, and they would definitely work for stabby if that needed to happen. They're mostly dwarves. You know that the captain is an elf. You don't currently see him. You see one human that's currently up on deck, and he looks like he's shouting orders to the sailors who are currently loading cargo onto the ship.
Okay, let's make our way onto the boat and introduce ourselves, as they should be expecting us.
Okay, so you make your way up to the loading plank, and the human who's up on deck notices you and barks an order to one of the dwarves and comes and meets you, and he goes, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yes, I believe you're expecting us. We are the people who have come to help the town. And what's his name? Whose name I've forgotten? Because I'm not good
Elrond.
with names. Arlen basically sent us.
Oh, you probably want to see the captain. I shall go and find him. And he just turns around and walks off. A minute or so later, a dwarf, sorry, not a dwarf, an elf comes up and says, hello, yes, thank you very much for coming. I was informed by Ero that you will be coming to see us. Your quarters are ready. Please feel free to board whenever you want. If you have any equipment to bring on board that you can't carry yourselves, let us know. And he points to the human, and he will arrange to get it stowed away for you.
All right. Before we leave, guys, do we need any transport at the other end? I mean, horse, donkey, cart, bucket.
It's not really going to be sensible to transport all that on
Okay.
the ship across. We're probably going to need dogs or something like that.
Fair enough.
Do you really want to look after dogs on a ship for 9 days?
No. I'm just saying.
I do.
You can deal with the shit.
I definitely want a dog for 9 days. Yeah, absolutely.
You can walk
That's
it.
what poop. That's what poop decks are for.
What's that for?
Oh god.
No. We call it poo decks in this side of the.
I
of the-
see,
of the
okay.
ocean.
Okay.
In that case, I'm going to go and find my quarters and start the drinking process. I'm
Okay.
not happy about being on a boat.
So, can you see the thing I just put up for you?
Yep.
We can.
Right. So you're currently in the middle. Your assigned quarters are these 2 rooms on the middle deck at the back.
Cool. Before that, though, can anyone join me to do the Titanic thing at the top deck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you.
What while in port?
But I'm being Rose. I'm the Goliath being Rose, and you're the dwarf as Jack.
Okay. So you go up to the prow on the top deck and you do the "I am Emperor of the Empire," and
I'm the
you
king
see
of the world.
Urs is still supervising the rest of the crew, and you see him look up at you and shake his head and carries on.
Sorry, I misinterpreted. I thought you were going to paint him naked.
That comes later.
That's on day 4. Gotta have something to look forward to.
Paint him
Wait,
like
till the
one of
dwarves.
your Zemnian girls. Yeah. Okay.
I share any of my ale with any of the crew that are downstairs. Can I get a?
Do you
feel
actually
for-
have any? I mean, I don't think you actually have any, do you? And there's not a
Possibly
bar on
not.
ship. If you want to,
Okay.
alcohol up, you probably have to bring your own.
Okay.
Is this a dry ship?
It's not
Oh,
a
dear
dry
God.
ship, but there's
I
no
was about to
bar.
say, this is dwarves.
If you can
Yeah,
convince
dwarves.
people to give from their supply, then feel free. But
Ah.
there's no one selling.
Okay, so
Whilst they're all loading, I just want to cast my eye over the seamen. This is going to sound really dodgy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand who the important people are on ships. I'm just going to observe.
Okay. Well, clearly the captain's important, Allred. The only other person you seem to see who has got any kind of authority is Urs, the human, and he is acting as a ship's quartermaster, and he's organising all the rest of the crew, who are dwarves.
is it quite obvious that he's in charge? Like he's kind of directing people around.
Yeah, he's
So-
not actually doing any work himself. He's making sure everyone's putting stuff where it's supposed to go and isn't standing around lollygagging.
So I wander up to him, and in the interest of paying back a favor to my cleric friend who sorted out my +1 on my great axe, I'd like to have a chat with him and find some alcohol on this boat for my good cleric friend.
Okay, so yes, hello.
Right. I would like to share with.
Where's the
crew-
drink?
Thank you.
The drink
going
is in the Jolly Dwarf. So where the drink is.
No, you misunderstand. Where is the drink?
Ah, okay. The drink is in the dwarf, and he
All right, well, do we
points
still
up
have
to
time?
Palebank
Okay,
Village.
do we have? In that case, do we have time to go
I'd
back
like
to the bar?
buy some spices, please.
Go
I'm
get a
s-
barrel of rum.
I'm
no,
sorry,
like-
friends. If you want drink, you buy it from the tavern.
Okay.
And then he just
I mean-
turns around and walks off to go and see a pair of
Okay, I'd like-
dwarves who are currently trying to arrange a crate.
How much is a small keg of reasonable rum?
Let me find out for you.
I mean, don't go and spend your money if you don't have to. I'm fairly sure I could convince somebody to give up their beer.
So, if you want a keg of rum, do you want good rum or just
Average rum.
functional
Captain Morgan.
Keg?
Captain Morgan's.
functional rum?
Careful.
Of rum?
So, about a gallon of rum will run you about 20 silver. And it won't be
Done.
particularly good. But 20 silver will
Don't
get
care.
you a gallon
There you go.
of rum
Done.
from the tavern.
Done. And make my way back to the ship
Okay.
with the rum and to my room. But after I've had a few, I wish to offer them around the crew, friendly, and possibly make friends.
Okay, does anyone
And
else
quite-
wish to do anything in Palebank before the ship departs?
I think I'm probably going to get a.
No,
I'll have to
those
just
prices.
copy them and get a keg of alcohol anyway because it's always useful.
Okay, what kind of alcohol you want? You're after the rum as well?
Yeah, I might as well go for the cheap rum.
I mean, the rum's pretty much... Well, it's rum, whiskey, it's that kind of hard spirit. Yeah.
It gets you drunk.
Oh, yeah, it'll definitely do that, yeah.
It's the Bell's equivalent. You get drunk from it, but you don't want to drink it for taste.
It's more like the stuff you find in Aldi, but yeah, okay, yeah, 20 silver for a gallon of that.
How much is the mead?
Mead by the gallon.
Yeah.
5 silver.
Cool. I'll get.
Mead
4
is actually
gallons of
it.
mead.
Okay.
I'd like to buy Jeff's mead for him, given that I smashed the nice bottle of dwarven whiskey over a frog's head. So,
And you're
Quite
after
well
5 gallons. Did you want?
you say 4? 5's fine. I mean,
5
Right.
gallons will be
See, so I'm not paying.
let's-
Fine.
let's-
15 silver.
okay. Alright, drop.
Cheers, dude.
It's the least I could do.
Which room is our? How are we sleeping? Where are we sleeping?
You've got
I
2
think-
rooms at the back of the ship in the middle deck. This one and this one.
Right, so we should work out who's sharing with who.
Yeah. This is a sort of common area, and here as well.
So I'm going to claim a bed in. I can't. Let me go to select. I'm going to claim a bed in. I can't see it. Angling in the bottom left one.
So
All right.
there.
I'll take the bed north of that then.
I think that our Goliath friend should probably only share with one other guy.
Well, seeing as how
You think
small
we'll have to
we are,
put
we might
2
as well
beds
Give him enough
together?
space.
give them
Yeah.
together.
Well,
Does
what
that
I
mean
was
we have to top and tail 2 dwarves?
What would what's the impact in terms of? I mean, because we're fully rested, right?
Yeah, you've had a full night at the Jolly Dwarf, yeah.
So
You've done nothing this morning, so you've got up, you spoke to Elro, you bought some equipment, and then you've boarded the ship. It's going to be sailing at high tide, which is about 3 in the afternoon. So you have about 4 hours before the ship's going to sail.
okay, for the most part, like where you're sleeping kind of won't impact things like recovery and whatnot, right? Like as long as you're
No.
sleeping with something.
No.
I'd prefer to just sleep on the deck in the interest of preparedness.
Okay, well, when we get to that point, if you want to camp up
Yeah.
on the deck, it is cold, but yeah.
Nope, it's not that. I want my comfort. I'm having my bed.
Okay. Yeah, the only way position would affect you is if you were paying, but you're not. The glass blades are picking this up for you. So if you were paying for your transit, then you would get better or worse accommodation depending on how much you were paying. So, but you're not paying. You're not expected to work. In fact, you notice that there's a couple of other adventurers on with you, and listening to them talking, it's common that Uthadern will give free transport to anyone wishing to go to Islecross to look for relics.
I'm hearing
Simply
meat
because,
grinder. I'm hearing meat grinder.
well, there's a lot of it's the only sort of commerce they've got to keep them up with the Dwendalian Empire and Zorhas.
How many people before us maybe have tried this?
People have been going for
10?
decades. People have been going for decades, and they come back and forth. People are lost. It's a dangerous area.
Okay, fair enough. So people have come back. This is not a giant black hole that thousands have been sent down.
People
Okay,
come
fair
back. The Sylrinya has been there for at least 5 or 6 years, from what you can figure out, and they've set up a semi-permanent presence there with the buyer, who can quickly get things back to Palebank Village or directly to Uthadern, should you wish to, and he's paying out for fines if people don't actually want to come back and do it themselves and try and find a better price. But Irvin himself came back.
Okay. I offered the adventurers a shot of rum each and asked if they know or have heard anything about these floating cities, ancient floating cities that are...
So at this point, we'll assume that the ship has now set sail and you've settled down, and you're in the common area, and there's a couple of dwarves in there. And thank you, friend. Thank you very much. You're offering the drink around.
This is the point where we basically befriend the adventurers and work out what their shtick is.
Okay.
Why are they on board?
Yeah.
Should we be worried about them or should we not?
So you struck up conversation with the pair of dwarves who are travelling with you. You find out one of them, a dwarven male called Hugrel, and his wife Bursida, and they're very exuberant, and they're saying, "Oh yes, we're going over to make our fortune."
Oh,
it's
fortune.
Well, there's just so much coin available from the Aeorian ruins. It's almost free money. It beats mining. If you don't want to mine and you're not one of the super brainy elves in Uthadern, then it's join the Glass Blades or go and find money elsewhere. We don't want to be trappers, so let's.
Oh right. Yeah.
What kind of employers are Glass Blades? Do you know?
I mean, they're you standard militia. You get you get enough to get by, but it's not an exciting life. Standing guard, dealing with drunks.
Okay.
Oh yeah, couldn't put up with that. So how much how rich are you expecting to be then? How much money is it over there?
We know at least one person who went to retire. My uncle Aratren. He went over there and he brought back some book, some gilded book, and he got what was it, dear? 1,000, 2,000 gold for it. When he got back to Uthadern, and he's now running his own stables.
Wow. I think maybe we should have a look there as well. That's like.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we're going over. If
have you heard of any of the dangers? I mean, obviously this place is not known for being safe and secure. Are you aware of any of the perils?
Yes, definitely. It's not a safe place. Otherwise, everyone would be going over there. It's there's creatures. There's.
Do tell. What kind of creatures? Any descriptions?
Oh, big furry yetis and all sorts of stuff like that. I know there are the wilders are out there. Not the civilized folk, but people who have been there probably for hundreds of years and for some reason decided they don't want to move to civilization, and they're up there.
Troglodytes and yetis. All right.
I know if you go near the River Inferno, there's some hellish beasts down there, but we're not going to go anywhere near the River Inferno. Not at all. No, we'll stay away from that. We can't deal with that kind of stuff. No.
Fair enough. Okay, these guys seem fairly trustworthy. Do we want to ask them anything else?
I think we should just make general conversation and to the point where we just basically befriend them.
Yeah.
You know,
They
typical pub talk.
yeah, and they're quite happy to share their wine with you. They brought a couple of kegs of wine on board with them as well for the trip. They're well aware there was nothing else to do but drink. So yeah, they're quite happy to share their wine with you.
Bonus crap rum for decent wine. Well, not crap wine.
Yeah, I mean it's not the best, but you're not the most discerning. So it's no Bull Dwarf whiskey, but it's good enough.
We're going to start the second day with a hangover, aren't we?
I mean, maybe. How much do you actually drink?
Nah, I'm not going to get myself drunk.
No, and I don't want to get very drunk, but I do wish to basically get to drink enough that I can go to sleep, because I don't sleep well on boats. It ain't the ground.
Okay.
Just basically going to drink enough to be social.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so the evening winds on. You think you've extracted all the information you wanted out of them. Yes, and they feel very friendly and very open. You don't feel any like they're going to pose any kind of threat to you. So do you make your way to your quarters to sleep?
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Not unless there's shuffleboard.
Camney, are you going to be setting up on the deck? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, I have like a bedroll and stuff, so if I can just kind of set up on the deck and.
I tap our bard friend on the shoulder and ask him if he might actually, in the quiet of our room, what's the radius you detect magic?
It's
32.
Within 30 feet. So I can do that for...
Yeah, possibly quietly do a detect magic in your room and see whether you pick up anything on the boat. You don't have to.
No, I mean... I don't really think I need to do that. I mean...
Okay.
Everyone seems trustworthy and...
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm not a trustworthy. I don't trust people.
Yeah.
okay, so you all go back to your quarters. Camney, you go up on deck and you start laying out your sleeping bag, and Urs is doing a patrol and he spots you setting up on the deck. So I'm assuming where you're actually setting up. So the top deck is basically the area with the steering and the area at the prow, and then the stairs that go down to this middle area here. This is all open to the air. So where are you setting up?
Go on, sleep in a lifeboat.
No, I think I'll set up at the pro.
You're going to set up at the prow up here.
Yeah.
So as you're setting up, Urs approaches and he went, "Hello, you found your drink, yeah?"
No.
Oh.
Do you have drink?
I thought I recognized the smell, but apparently not. You know,
You have drink?
they pay for you to sleep in the bed, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You
I have bed. I bring my own bed.
no, downstairs where
No,
it's
upstairs,
warm.
I have bed.
You sleep here.
Yeah, I sleep here.
Very well. And shakes his head.
Is he
And,
German or French?
yes,
Hello?
yes,
He's generic foreign.
yes. He is generic foreign. You catch a twang of. Actually, give me a perception check.
Oh, fuck, I'm not good at perception. This is gonna go poorly.
Or rolling in general.
I thought he was Irish, so
Okay, well, as long as none of you picked up Jamaican, that's fine.
Okay. Perception. Perception. Cool, nailed it.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like he's from around here.
See?
Yeah.
Fucking-
He doesn't sound like any dwarves you've ever met, and he definitely doesn't sound like a Goliath. No, he's not from around here.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of just stare at him till he leaves.
Right. So as he walks back down to the main deck, and he keeps looking over his shoulder, and you're just stood there staring at him every time he looks over his shoulder. Just
Stock
still, just staring him
Chin
down.
Just staring.
Is the wind blowing casually through your cape as you stand there in the silhouette of the moon?
I'm waiting for him to go away so I can practice my King of the World.
Okay. Well, he eventually makes his way back downstairs, and you're left to your own devices. Okay, so you're gonna go to sleep.
Yep.
I guess there's nothing else to do.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're bed down. Nothing of any particular note happens on the first night. It all goes very peacefully. Tharkul, you've had enough to settle your nerves a bit, but perhaps not your stomach. You wake up in the morning feeling a little green around the gills.
I hate boats. Okay.
But other than that, you're absolutely fine.
I'm going to blame the boat, not the alcohol.
So Urza set up some rations in the common area if you want to have some of those for breakfast, so you don't need to dip into your rations while on the trip.
Excellent. And while our Goliath friend is upstairs, I nip in before him, so there's some left.
No, there's plenty of food.
Buffet, mate.
You see the two dwarves that you were drinking with last night in there as well, and you exchanged pleasantries.
I kind of wander through, walking over to one of the tables with a plate just been stacked high, like an excessive amount of food, just sitting down like.
We'll watch you because you're oblivious to how many times you've hit your head on the wall.
Well, yeah, this is a ship full of dwarves. You're effectively on your hands and knees crawling to breakfast.
So every time you go into a room, it's like bang, fuck,
Like 4 feet forward to the next beam.
and then bang, fuck. Yeah,
Have
okay.
you ever played in a child's windy house? Basically, that's what the kitchen in this place is like for you.
So you notice Bursida, the dwarven female, seems to have she's got a bit of a hangover on her this morning. She's looking a bit. I think maybe she had a bit too much of the rum you were passing around last night. But other than that,
Boats, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, do it to you every time. So, are you your husband and the fortune that are you blessed with children?
no, we wouldn't have done this if we'd have had children. I mean, clearly I'm still very young. That's something that we might do in the future, but we want to get our fortune now and then maybe use it to settle down.
I'm wondering whether or not are they looking for help, or are they looking to go it alone? Do they seem an independent sort, or are they uncertain?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the impression that the plan is to go alone. That between the two of them, they think they can handle whatever is thrown at them. So
Do
they
that?
I don't know. Do you think?
I mean, do they look the sort, or do they look like basically city mice?
You think they may be being a little naive? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Are they
A little
wearing
bit.
red shirts?
They're not wearing red shirts, no. But you do think they're going to be. You think maybe they're overestimating their own abilities a little bit.
At some point, their shirts may be red.
Perhaps.
Involuntary redness.
Do we as a party feel any endearment to these people, looking at their well-being, or are they just passing NPCs that we're going to forget about?
I mean, I haven't spoken to them, so I have no
No,
concern.
they're friendly enough, but I'm not going to shed a tear if they die.
Fair enough. Do we give a crap then?
Well, they're here and they're companions.
Okay.
Then, yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, once we get there,
Let's
it's their life, their
let's-
risk.
as we seem friendly with them, engage them in some more conversation about their plan. Where is it they think they're going to find this fortune? Do they know anything about the area already? Do they have expectations, or is this just basically we've sold the farm and decided to go to Las Vegas and put it all on black.
You engage them in conversation. At this point, when you start asking about what their particular plans are, they sort of get a little guarded and don't really want to talk about anything in particular. You get the impression that even though they're fairly friendly and they were very congenial with you last night, there's a point at which they're looking after their own interests, and if they have information about anything in particular, they're not really willing to share it with you. Just on a competitive basis, it's you're all competing for the same prizes, and so the answers you get back are vague and along the lines of, we've got a few ideas of some places where we might find some things, general areas and such. So we'll go and scout them out, and I'm sure we'll come across something. The whole foreign's it's littered with pieces of Aor. We're bound to find something.
Tell me more about this river that you want to avoid.
Oh, the River Inferno.
Yes.
So the River Inferno.
I'm liking the idea of Inferno. Forge, heat, fire.
So Anatrem explains to you that there is a river that runs from the south to the north of Foreign, but it's a lava river that runs from the south to the north of Foreign. The story is that it's not natural to the area. It doesn't spring up from a volcano, which you would expect for this kind of lava river. It is on the lowlands, and it runs from the south to the north. There are stories that...
How long is this lava river?
The entire length of Foreign. It runs from the south to the north.
Am I aware of the unnaturalness of this?
Yes, I mean, and Anatrem points out that yes, it's not normal, is it? It's not right.
No. I mean, lava would normally solidify long before it made a mile.
But when you have a magic city crash on you, all sorts of stuff happens. So everyone just assumes this is something that happened when Aor hit, that it wasn't there originally. And but there have been sightings of fire creatures, I suppose is the best word, around the river. Unusually, we've heard tales that even though this is a lava river, and if you were to go for a swim, you would regret it almost immediately, that any ice or icebergs or anything that seems to fall into it from any of the glacial movements is unaffected. And we've heard that some crazy people actually use that to travel the length of the island on ice flows in the river. We won't be doing any of that. That's okay.
So the lava doesn't set things on fire?
It sets things on fire. It just doesn't seem to melt ice.
Interesting.
We've heard.
Okay.
We think maybe someone was perhaps pulling our beards a little.
They would be a sight to see.
But yes, we won't be going. We won't need to deal with fire beasts. We just won't be dealing with that. So we're going to stay away.
Okay. Guys, this place is sounding cool. I'm for the floating icebergs on the lava river.
Below zero, I hope you bought your furs.
We
will be warm there.
Yeah, next to a river of fire should be alright.
Is there anything else? I mean, you're on a boat. You can't really do much. But is there anything else you want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, like on the ship, other than the two dwarves,
the
elven captain, the human, or whatever is the French German fellow.
He's human. Yes.
Yeah. Who else is kind of on the boat, with the exception of those kind of four? Who
Just
else is
4 dwarven deckhands who keep to themselves. They don't really have any interaction with you at all.
In that, how much stuff does a hold?
How much stuff does a hold?
Yeah, as in, is it stuffed?
No, it's not stuffed. No, there are some provisions. There's crates of furs. There's crates of dried meat. There's crates of salted fish.
Yeah.
Just your basic travel supplies.
Cool.
Nothing
I'm going to head up
there.
to the top deck.
There's a few barrels of fresh water. Sorry, yes, sir.
I'm going to head up to the top deck and take a whiz over the side. Be back in a minute to join in.
Okay. You've you didn't ask anyone. You just did it, and you're standing next to us as you do this, and he went, you've done the boat singer before.
He's actually gone for a wee in real life.
And he actually has as well.
That's a smooth way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to join him on the deck.
Okay.
So,
Go to the poop deck.
yeah.
I practice my bagpipe for the next
silently
8
wait.
days.
I'd like to talk our trustworthy friend Devil.
What do you
I
mean?
changed my mind.
Have I done anything that's untrustworthy?
I'd like to talk to our friend Jeff and encourage him not to play bagpipes.
No.
late.
I mean, how upset would Jeff be if I took the bagpipes from him and tossed them overboard?
I think he might punch you.
No, I wouldn't punch you. I'd charm the next
No, you
big
can insult me to death.
motherfucker that we find and get him to.
Beat me up.
No, what? It'd be worse than beating up. Well, let's put it that way.
I would like to talk our trustworthy friend into finding the French human fellow's cabin and seeing if he has any alcohol and stealing it from him for me as a matter of pride.
Ah, the sea breeze.
How does Devil feel about that?
Why?
I don't know. I don't like him.
But that's his alcohol.
Yeah, but with your help, it could be mine.
Why didn't you buy some beforehand?
Why buy things if you can get your buddy to steal other people's things?
Okay, let's put it this way. What am I going to get out of this?
My undying friendship. I mean, I'll stand in front of monsters that try to kill you.
Okay.
Good at that. I'm pretty
Sounds
good at that.
What's the gig? Are you Ocean's 13ing the boat?
I hadn't even thought about that, but that's a good idea. No, I was trying to convince Devil to break into the weird French-German guy's cabin and steal any alcohol that he had.
Maybe it will take a while because I need to spend my time and look. So I'm going to observe. I'm going to spend a day just sort of like observing best times, lot qualities, stuff like that.
Have I successfully convinced you to rob him?
I tap our trustworthy friend on the shoulder and I point out to him that in our adventuring, my god has provided me with new abilities. The ability to clone small objects. So, should you find any keys of interest that might help us in our adventures, I can, if I have possession of them for 1 hour, clone said objects.
That's handy.
Maybe.
Just to let you know.
Let me have a look.
I'll leave it with you.
While you're considering this,
You're the most intrepid thief I've ever met.
What do you mean intrepid?
No, sorry, it's just timid. That was the word. Sorry.
right? Chat would like to know whether or not Jeff is wearing a utility kilt at the moment.
Yeah, I just saw that and I had a bit of a chuckle. And no, it's just fat guy shorts.
Mystery is
Just
solved.
Tom, out of character, okay? I'm not a thief.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
My
rogue.
character- Same difference.
No, no.
No,
There's
6
a
or
world
1.
of difference, dude. I'm not one-sided and one-dimensional.
You have multiple dimensions, like an onion.
Mm.
I know because I wrote some of them in your
I
character bio.
choose who I want to thief from.
Rise, everybody, I'm back. I managed to wee on a low-flying bird. What did I miss?
well, that was a long week.
For a dwarf,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
he was gone a while, considering, yeah.
If you're not, the difference between can you pick a lock?
I have been known to pick locks in the past.
Well then, yeah, there you go.
Just because I can pick a lock does not mean I'm a thief.
Thief.
Now, you see, the difference between a rogue and a thief is a thief will just admit they're a thief. A rogue will shoot you in the eye with an arrow.
Okay.
And then spend 10 minutes denying that he's a thief.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and observe Mr. French German bloke.
Okay, so his name's Urs.
Yep.
You've learned from about his name's Urs Hertzsprung.
Hertzsprung.
Hertzsprung. Yeah.
Hertzbomb.
Hertzsprung.
Oh, I thought he. Okay.
Hertzsprung.
Sprung.
Hertzsprung, as in the Audi.
D for Delta or G for Golf?
G for Goliath.
So I'm going to do some reconnaissance work, and I'm going to observe him and reserve the security on his cabin, reconnaissance, observe what happens and make sure that I have an idea of when it's the best time to nip in there and have a look around and how difficult it will be to get into his cabin.
Okay, so
Is there a feeling? Sorry, is there a feeling that he is a bit dodge?
No, I was
don't know.
feeling his alcohol.
yeah, Camney doesn't like him,
No, it's just
so he wants to. Yeah, he just doesn't like him. So this is about approaching midday at this point when you've had your conversation with Camney and you decide to scope him out. He's spent pretty much the entire day walking the main deck and the lower deck, just keeping an eye on the rest of the dwarf sailors, making sure if they're not cleaning something, that they're doing something useful. You get the impression that he just wants stuff done. And even if it doesn't need doing, he wants everyone to be doing something. He leaves you alone. He leaves the other adventurers alone. He accepts that you're there as almost paying guest. You're not there to work, so he just ignores you as much as he can.
Okay.
But you don't notice any particular pattern to his patrol. He just seems to be. He seems to get a small amount of enjoyment at catching out the sailors trying to goof off. So you get the impression that he tries not to have any kind of pattern to his movements. But you do notice that he has not returned to his cabin during the day.
He's a bad guy.
Right, that's useful. I'll just keep an eye on it, as I said, and I'm not going to do anything today. That can be for tomorrow,
Okay.
etc.
Right,
There's also the logic of stealing something from the person in charge, from the quartermaster of the ship, whilst we're on a ship, and therefore easy to find out.
and easy to throw off.
Yep. So I need to find somebody to blame appropriately for the.
I mean, blame
Yeah.
me, because he's going to struggle to throw me off of the boat.
We can't sail, dude. You're basically.
Yeah, but
I've been in this boat before, per se. Don't kill the people who can sail the boat. You end up basically drifting at sea for days and days.
Whilst I'm at it, I'm going to see how well what's his face drinks in the evening. So when it gets to evening, does Urs actually drink?
Right, so the day progresses. You keep an eye on him. You all just seem to pass the time as best you can. Pandak, you're in your book almost constantly when you're not doing something else. When you're not whizzing off the side, you're thumbing through your spell book and making notes in a notebook that you've got. Jeff practicing his bagpipes up on the top deck. Camney doing his best to try and get in Urz's way as much as you can without provoking an actual.
Following behind him, a younger sibling would walk like in lockstep behind an older sibling to annoy them.
Yeah, he's definitely
Right,
annoyed. Yeah,
around the boat all day long.
Yeah, he's definitely annoyed. You keep just far back enough that it's not a face-to-face confrontation, but you get the impression he's rapidly grown to dislike you. So you progress to the evening. The crew set out some more supplies for you in the common room, and you and the two dwarf adventurers settle down to eat. You notice the crew eat in a separate area of the ship. They're not in there with you. So you're currently in here, in the middle deck.
Okay, is have dinner.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to invite Urs for a drink.
You don't know where he is. He's not in there with you, and you haven't seen him since you went in there.
I'm going to have a look, see whether he's in any of the common areas. Invite some of the crew if I want, because you said there was only like six dwarves, did you say?
4 of the dwarven crew, the elven captain, and Urs, the human.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite any crew into the common area for a drink.
Okay, you come out into the middle deck, and you can't see any crew around on the middle deck as you come out.
Can I assume that this second deck, the main deck, at
Yes.
the back, is the captain's cabin?
You assume that, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go for a hunt around the middle deck because I'm assuming you can't see me when I press the button, can you? So,
If you click and hold, it pings. There you go.
So, in that one there, is that hammocks?
Do you go in?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, you try the door. It's open. You open the door. Yeah, it's just some hammocks strung up. Currently, no one in there.
Right, I'm going to go down to the lower deck because I'm interested in what's in these rooms because I can't quite tell from the map.
Okay, so you make your way down to the lower deck, which is you come out here. As you make your way through into this area, you see the crew sat on various boxes and barrels, and they're eating their rations and talking between themselves. And as you come around the corner, it all sort of goes quiet. They're not used to seeing the adventurers down in the lower decks, and you see Urs is on his own up this corner.
Hey, I just wanted to come down and see whether any of you wanted to join us for a drink.
And they all sort of look to each other, and then look to Urs at the back, and he's sort of giving them all. He's not saying anything. He's just giving them all a look. He heard your offer, and the dwarf you're talking to just sat just here. He's like, not right now. No, thanks for the offer though. That's mighty nice of you.
I'm guessing that's Irish.
Definitely Irish, Jim. Yep.
The
Irish dwarf.
The sort of random Irish dwarf. Okay, but tomorrow evening if you want to come along or later tonight, feel free. We have plenty of room if you want to just come and join us and have a conversation. It must be quite dull down here.
Oh, we make our own entertainment. Thanks for the offer, though, friend. Captain Aradil, he's going to be in his cabin.
Okay. But have we seen him since sailing?
Yes, you've seen him once or twice. He doesn't spend most of his time out on the deck, but you've seen him out. You've seen him taking references. You've seen him keeping an eye on the shore because you are travelling. You're following the coastline. You're not going out to sea, so you are following the coastline of the Greying Wildlands. So he just come out and make sure that you're in the right place.
I'm going to take up. Oh, sorry, go on.
I'm going to leave the lower deck because there's no advantage in staying here if they've rejected the offer. I'm just out of the thingy. Have I seen which room is Urz's?
No.
No. Okay. So I may need to come back here in a bit more stealthily later.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to take a bit of the rum and go and knock on the captain's cabin door.
Okay, so the captain's cabin. Well, the captain's office is the door is here.
Okay, that's
Okay.
the door I'm going to knock on.
Yeah, so you're going to knock on the door. Okay, the door opens, and Alwyn opens the door.
This is the captain, yeah?
This is the captain, yes. So
Yeah.
it's early evening now. It's about 7 o'clock in the evening. And hello, can I help you at all?
I thought that I would share my rum with you and possibly a bit of company.
Yes, very well. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, please.
Okay.
Please come in.
Pour him out a glass. And,
I don't usually partake, but
yeah, well, I just thought might be nice to get to know the people who are basically taking us across on this journey and basically keeping us afloat, as it were. I'm not a fan of boats, but I just like to express my gratitude to you for not sending us to the bottom of the ocean, I guess.
oh well. I'd like to think that the glass blades have a reputation for being reliable. It's some of us we grow up in Uthadern, and even though it's very welcoming and it's certainly home now, living under a mountain, sometimes you just want to be outside.
Okay.
The woodlands aren't hospitable to us anymore, so
if he is aware of the problems in the town that we've just come from, and not mentioning the disease, try and make a perception roll to see whether or not when I say problem, he recognizes what I'm saying, or whether or not it seems possibly alien to him, or whether he's unaware of it.
Okay, make a perception roll.
Oh dear.
That's
a good roll, that.
You don't know anything.
That is a crit, isn't it? Crit fail.
Mm-hmm. That's a nat 1.
Yep.
Fumble.
I fumbled a perception roll. Exactly what happens.
I guess I ripped my pants again.
He says, yes, Elwar informed me of the reason that you're on the ship. I'm aware that you're looking for some particular Aeorian cure for something that's afflicted an adventurer who returned from here. So,
okay.
Yes, I am aware of that.
Completely misreading him and thinking that he understands everything, begin to fill him on the details of the disease and ask him what else he knows about it.
Okay, well, you explain to him. I'm assuming you're explaining the symptoms and
the symptoms and what it's called, and the fact that we several people have been infected and blue vials, the whole bit.
Okay, well,
that he already understands everything that I'm talking about.
He's nodding along, and as you start explaining what it's called and how it affects people, he's starting to look a little bit more horrified at each turn. And you get to the end, and he seems visibly shaken. You don't think he was aware of the gory details, just that something bad had happened, and
okay,
and you were trying to.
We've shocked him. I asked him whether or not he knows of anything that might help us help these people. Any information might be useful, and as such, gratefully accepted, if freely given.
No, I'm just a sailor. I'm afraid I don't adventure. I don't deal with law. I don't have
Do you
anything.
know anything of the artifacts that have come from this floating city? Any have the people who found them traveled back with you, as you seem to be the only boat? I've heard tales of people coming back with great riches. Have you seen them? Have they traveled with you? Have they passed through your vessel?
Absolutely, we've had adventurers travel back with us with their findings. Most of them tend to keep them to themselves. Naturally, they want to make sure that they get what they believe they're deserved. A few people have been showing off magical weapons and items and necklaces and books.
And come back? Do they come back changed people?
They usually come back happy people.
Happy people. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay. The guy who stole this stuff originally, what was his name?
Ergon, the guy who
Ergon.
found it. Yeah, Ergon
Yeah.
Brent.
Ask him if he's heard of Ergon.
Yes. Well, only I've been told that he came on the ship. I seem to remember. I seem to remember him travelling with us, but nothing of particular note.
And he didn't make any boastful comments on his return journey of things found or treasures won.
No more than anybody else does. No. Nothing that springs to mind, anyway.
Fair enough. Can you give us advice on the first place we should go to when we make land, given you know of our history and our purpose?
I deal with the ocean. I tend not to try and get involved with anything that happens on land. You can speak to any of the adventurers who are in Sylrinya, and I'm sure they could point you in the direction. I understand Elro told you the name of somebody to talk to, a colleague of Ergon's that may be able to give you an idea of where to travel to once you arrive there, but I'm afraid that's outside of my area.
And tell me more of this lava river that doesn't melt ice.
I've heard this story. I've not got off the boat, so
okay.
I have seen travelling around the coast steam coming from the south coast of Foreign. I can only assume that's the south end of this river, but there are lots of fanciful stories about it. I can't tell you which ones are true and which ones are made up.
Fair enough. Well, I shall leave you. You're a busy man. I am a lay preacher. May I bless you before I go?
Yeah, very well.
Fair enough. I do some chanting and say some holy words, and in doing so, I actually cast a detect magic.
Okay.
Anything within a 30-foot radius or sphere.
Okay, you cast detect magic. Give me a deception check.
Okay, bear with me.
Right. So
Nice.
At least it wasn't like that.
he sits there and he waits for you to finish your incantation. You let it off.
Yep.
And you get a feeling of a magic field on his person, down by his belt. You're not quite sure what it is, but it's something magical there. And he says, "Have you got everything you need?"
I'm perfectly fine, thank you. And thank you again for keeping us safe. And say my good night and make my way back to my cabin.
Okay.
That didn't go to plan.
Well, you know about plans, don't you?
Yeah. The dice have their own rules.
Okay, so Dabble's been sneaking around on the lower decks. You've been casting magic into the face of the captain. Is anyone else doing anything of note after you've eaten your evening rations before you bed down?
Just a quick thing. I'd just like to head back up to the top deck
Mhm.
and presumably look out over the port side, left, right.
The port side, yeah. So the port side is the side that's towards the coastline.
Yeah, I'd just like to look over the port side of the ship and see if we are still in eye shot of the coast.
Yeah, you can see the coastline. Let me just call up not that map, just so I can yeah, you can see the shoreline. It's not particularly mountainous. You can see some mountains rising off into the distance, but the actual the shoreline is fairly flat.
Okay.
It's not very built up at all.
Cool.
Where's my bloody map? There we go. Okay, so while you're up there, you hear some some shouting from someone who's on the
On the
starboard side of the ship, shouting and pointing.
Okay, I run over.
It's two of the dwarven crew members. Okay, you make your way over there, and you can see what they're pointing at. They're pointing at what seems to be somebody, a figure, stood in the water, on top of the water.
What time?
Can I get a Jesus Christ?
It's. Did someone say what time?
No, I said it's Jesus.
All right.
Okay, so from where we are, I run over. I look over. Can I see this same figure that they can see?
You can see a figure. It looks to be about 500-600 feet off. It's very, very small.
Off the starboard bow.
Off the starboard bow. It's sort of off starboard and sort of in front of where you're going. So you're not going to. If you carry it on your course, you're not going to hit it. But it's definitely over there. And it's
shouting enough to get everybody up on deck. I mean, can we hear the shouting down below?
Not yet. No, it sounded like it was one of the dwarven crew members shouting to the other to say, "Can you? Did you see that? I'm not losing my mind. There's a person out there." And he sees you come up. Do you see that?
So I don't answer his question, but I tell him to run off and get the rest of my party, particularly get the cleric.
Okay.
Send them off to collect them. So
right, yeah, okay. And that the dwarf goes down and finds the rest of you in the mess.
While he's running down, so does it look like they're actually floating on the water, or does it look like they're floating above the water or standing on the water?
Give me a perception check.
This is not going to go well. Perception. Here we go. See? Told you.
Oh dear.
You can't tell, but they're definitely not swimming. They're definitely not swimming.
Okay.
As you watch, you can actually start seeing other figures out there as well in that same area.
Once
just
the dwarf comes
moving around.
we make our way quickly up onto the top deck. Or I make my way quickly onto the top deck.
Okay. So you can see these now about 2 or 3 figures. They're still very far away, and they're still nowhere near your course of travel.
Are they all off that starboard bow direction? Are they all kind of closely clumped together?
Yes.
Okay, can I make a nature check? Do I know? Do these look human or do they look mermaidy? Maybe.
Too far to tell. It's too far to tell. They look humanoid to you.
Can I get a perception check as to whether they're standing on something or floating above the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to quickly bring Dave up to speed. Bring Dave up to speed.
They're standing. They look to be walking around, and you now see 3 or 4 figures, and they seem to be almost milling around.
Okay, are we on a?
It's like walking, like just chilling out.
Yeah.
Are we on a collision course with these people?
You're not. You are getting closer, but they're not in front of you.
Can we
request? We're going to come alongside them.
Yeah. Can we ask to be slowing down the boat, or are we?
You could go and find the captain if you want to, but.
Hit him.
I ask our dwarven shipmates if they could advise the captain on this and get his take.
Okay, so
bring him up here. I think is something he needs to see immediately.
The dwarf that was sent down to pick you up has come back up with you, and you tell him, go and get the captain. Anyway, and he's like, oh yeah, and he goes off.
Okay.
Minute or so later, the captain.
23. Are they floating or they are just walking around on the water? So effectively, the waves are passing. There are no waves.
It is very still, so you're not quite sure if they're passing through them but it's very still water. You are starting to get closer now. You can see that the figures seem to be not quite as solid as you would expect.
Are they humanoid or are they watery?
humanoid, yeah.
Can we
Okay.
see any features?
Not yet, no, you're still too far away. So the captain
Where's the
comes up.
captain?
Alray comes up. You want to explain to him?
Yeah, explain to
What's the
him.
commotion?
Yeah, I grab a hold of the captain. I'm like, dudes, things off the front, over there.
Okay.
Either
He has a
there is
look.
some strong magic afoot, or there is a rocky structure which this boat may come into contact with. I suggest that we either slow down, or take evasive action, depending. You are the captain; it is your choice. But one of those two things probably needs to happen.
Okay, so he looks out. He looks forward. He looks at the course of the ship. He reaches down to his belt, pulls out a spyglass, and extends it and looks at it. And he just sort of holds there for 10, 20 seconds, sort of.
Can I make a
sweeping
perception
it
check
around.
as to whether or not this was the thing I detected magic on?
No, your
Okay.
your spell is finished now. So if you want to detect
No,
magic
fair
on
enough.
it again,
no,
you'll
no,
have to.
no, that's fair enough. Okay, cool.
And he just stands there and he's looking at it, and you can see him sort of muttering under his breath.
I kind of
Is
give
it-
him I give him a shunt. I kind of stick an elbow in. Like, what do you see? What do you see?
It's and he just hands you the spyglass.
I look
Ooh,
through the spyglass.
Okay, so you line it up and you can see what appears to be now 7 or 8 figures, spectral figures that you can definitely see through them.
Nope.
And they're milling around, and the more you look at them, the more it looks to you like they're in a market or some kind of village,
like
or
gold?
like a market, like they're
So
looking
they
at.
look. So the figures themselves, they look kind of ghostly.
They look ghostly, yes. You can definitely see through them. You can see the waves in the water through them,
Okay.
and they
Can I
seem
have
to
a
be
go on
people.
the spyglass, please.
I pass the spyglass over to the cleric.
Okay.
With my knowledge of undead, are these look like lost souls?
They definitely look spectral, yes.
How far away are they exactly? Or ish?
Not far enough.
Currently about 400 feet.
Yeah, let's keep them that far away here, guys, because
Okay.
basically, if they are undead of that level,
As you're looking, Alred shouts to one of the sailors, and he shouts, 5 to port, 5 to port, and the dwarf starts raking the tiller over, and you start to move to port. So
As the cleric definitely starts to fall over because he's not really good with boats. I take the spyglass back off of him.
yeah, that's fair enough. You can have it. I'm not happy that we've got a bunch of undead off are they off starboard? Are we turning away from them now?
they're off starboard. You're turning away from them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm happier. Yeah,
Okay.
the poop deck has one more poop.
So are you just going to keep a watch on them as you sail past?
Looking through the spyglass, kind of so obviously the figures themselves are spectral in nature.
Yeah.
Is the market that you mentioned the kind of the place that they are? Is that like a spectral kind of presence as well?
So you can't see an actual market. It looked as if they were behaving
like
as
they
if they were
were
in a market, but you can only see the figures. You can't see anything else.
Okay,
Did they look malevolent or in any way? Did they just look like they
Did they
were
look upset?
shocked?
Yeah. So to
They
this
look like-
point, they just seem to be going about their day.
and they pay no attention to us. They don't seem in any way.
They haven't made any move towards you, no, or look to see if they've noticed you.
I'm still wary, but out of character. Something screams holograms.
They're just ghosts.
Can I ask the
There
captain?
must be in the floating city there, and they're just ghosts.
Sorry, what was that?
Has the captain seen this before in his many a trip across?
You asked the captain. Alred says, I've not seen this. No. It's... Aor has done some...
Nope. Stay away from the undead. Nope.
Aor has had a profound effect on this area. I've not seen this before, but it's not unusual to see unusual things, so I I assume this is what this is. We will keep away.
Nobody told me there were zombies.
We will keep away from it, unless you have a particular reason not to.
No.
But I value my
No.
ship.
Yeah.
I value my
No.
people. I have no reason to engage with this.
I value whatever my god decides is a soul.
So you're passing by, and with the course correction, you're not going to get much closer to it. You pass within about 300 feet of it, and as you pass at your closest point, you notice 2 or 3 of the figures have now stopped and are watching. Seem to be watching you as you go past.
I ain't waving.
They're not doing anything. They just seem to be standing and watching now, rather than milling around.
Yeah, don't care. Yeah, they have some sort of sentience. That ain't cool.
Can we speed up this boat?
Yeah.
Somebody's paddle.
There'll be no more drinking this ship on this
So
trip.
you say that out loud.
Yes.
Are we
Okay.
all still standing
Yeah.
on the deck?
You're still standing. As far as I'm aware, you're all stood about there along the side of the deck, watching what's going on.
And where's the captain at this point?
The captain's in the middle of you. He's about there,
Does
and
the
he
captain
shouts, "Yeah,
worried
put
or-
on the sail. Put on the sail. Let's get away from this."
Okay.
I'm happier. Does the bard have a take on this? Anything in your mythic arts?
I've been downstairs getting drunk on mead.
Okay.
So did you not come up?
All of this.
You didn't come up on deck when
I start to become critical of your drinking. We need to have our
God.
wits about us now.
you would
Quick,
think that a
come up
bard
there.
would be all up for the stories, but
Yeah, no.
he's about the drinking. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're going to teach the crew to sing friggin' in the riggin', you know?
GM making notes. Cameron, make me a perception check, please.
To make another perception check?
Yes, please.
I mean, what's the point? Oh, that's the point.
Okay, because you've been dogging him for the entire trip, you do notice that Urs is up on the back of the top deck, and he's stood there watching this happen as well. He's not doing anything, he's just stood there watching.
I would like to take a brief walk over to him.
Okay.
And relatively politely kind of ask him what's your take on this? What do you think this is?
This is just more Aeorian nonsense, and he walks off.
Before he walks off, I kind of try to keep engaging him in conversation. I'm not sure you're telling me everything you know. I mean, I'm not very smart. but I don't
Okay.
think you're very-
And he carries on
I don't
walking.
think you're very smart either. I kind of raise my voice.
I don't like your accent.
Intimidate him.
Okay, make an intimidation check.
I like to intimidate him to stand the fuck still when I'm talking to him.
Okay, make an intimidation check.
Cool. Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. You
So with a
get
very
his attention.
loud, booming voice, kind of like very a lot of gravitas to cement him in place while I'm talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know what you know.
I know that this place is broken. Same as you. He's not French.
I'm glad he settled. I'm glad he settled.
I'm glad you met up.
It's all
because
going to be in the first week.
I was trying to go up with a dismissive state. I was going to be like, cheers, hands. But no, it'd be,
Okay.
Jesus. Okay. Does it seem like I'm going to get anything else out of him?
No.
Okay.
No. He turns around and starts to walk away.
So whilst we're here, then, so are all the crew on the top deck?
So you've got the 2 dwarves who were up on the top deck originally, all of you, Urs, and the captain. So currently you're missing the 2 dwarves and the other 2 dwarven crew.
From where I am, by the way, can
Mhm.
Like,
So
like,
you're
kind of what-
currently up here. So Urza went to walk off sort of down these steps, and
Yeah.
you caught him in the middle of the top there.
Yeah, now he's obviously walking off because
He's now walking. He's walking
I've
down
got
here.
it up.
Yeah.
So across the deck, from where I am to the from the stern to the prow, how kind of far is that?
I'll tell you exactly. It is 90 feet.
Okay, perfect. I
Sure.
would like to pocket the spyglass.
No, you don't have it. It was handed off.
Never would have handed it back. I was planning to steal it the whole time. So like,
Well, you didn't say that. You would have had to have make a sleight of hand check if you were trying to steal it. Everybody is currently looking at this, so
yeah, everyone
some
else is looking at it, and I've been looking with the spyglass, which has been in my hand.
if you wanted to steal it, you needed to have told me much earlier. The captain currently has a spyglass. You can see why you've been up talking to us that it's been handed around between Thokul and the captain, each taking turns looking at it. But
Okay, I'm gonna
they've been
stand up at
keeping
the
an eye
front
on
of
it.
the boat and mutter about the death of decent filming.
Okay. So you're now passing by this whatever it was, and it's now fading off into the distance. It's
And they're
about
not being followed
it's
or
about
anything?
8:30. No, it's not following you. It's about 8:30 in the evening now.
Fair enough.
So
That
I'm,
was
I'm
really
gonna I'm gonna just hover by the stairs here on the middle deck. So around there.
Hang on,
Just
I'm not on
actually
screen.
probably
Do it
about
again.
there, so I can.
Okay.
About there, so I, you know,
I would.
tend to read a book or something, so I can just catch people going downstairs and stuff.
I'd like to engage the captain and just kind of offer to stand watch on the top deck
Oh, actually,
and ask him if he would be so kind as to lend me his spyglass to aid
He thanks you for the offer.
me in my watching.
Just if he'd loan it to us for a couple of hours this evening to look at the stars, I promise that you will get it back.
Well, I intend to use it to look at things potentially spectral in nature that we might run into.
Okay.
I appreciate the offer, I really do, but we have our own routines for doing watch. I know that you are probably surprised and shocked by this. This is not
How much
something.
did it look like it was worth?
Give me
I just wanted the
a.
looky.
Give me a investigation check. Oh, was that a crit? Okay, so it looks very nice. It's leather, but wrapped in very fine gold filigree. It looks like a very, very nice
Does it look like it's
spyglass.
worth more than 100 gold?
Yes.
Damn. Okay, never mind. I'm out. I
So
had a plan.
I do appreciate the offer, but we have our own ways of keeping watch. We don't expect our guests to do it for us, and I know this probably appears very alarming and very surprising to you, but this is the nature of this area, and even though this is something that I can't say that I've seen exactly this sort of thing before, unusual things are usual around here. We just take care to avoid them, and we are usually fine.
Okay. I'm entirely unsatisfied with this answer, but kind of wander away, somewhat disgruntled and upset at not being able to pocket the fucking spyglass.
So he gives instructions to his sailors to carry on back to your posts, and he heads back down to his quarters.
Cool. I head over to where my bedding is and kind of just chill out.
You're gonna set up on the deck again.
Yeah.
Okay. Dabble, you said you were down.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind. Sorry, I misread the thing. I'm going to be there on that table,
Okay.
so I can see people going down to the lower deck. I'm just going to clock who goes in and who goes out.
Okay. So you see you see Urs come down from upstairs. He walks out here. Actually, let me use the measure tool. It's probably easier. So he walks this way, then he walks down here, gives a nod, and then goes down the stairs.
Cool. So the two dwarves haven't come down yet, so they're still up there.
No, the two dwarves are still up on deck. You haven't seen the captain come down. You've just seen Urs.
Right.
We
so
need
I'm
some
gonna-
Mission Impossible music.
I got bagpipe music.
I'm
Start
going to
playing
read
the
it.
pipes.
I'm going to read a bit more in my book, just to leave about half an hour to an hour to see where those dwarves are coming down.
No,
Get headed.
You've not seen anyone else. You see the two dwarf adventurers come out of the let me ping it. Come out of the common area.
Yeah.
You catch them come out of the common area, and then they cross there and go into the room you saw with the hammocks.
Oh, the steerage class.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to stealth down into the lower deck.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Oh no, that means I've got to bring up my character sheet. I don't really have enough space in the.
That's a crit.
Stealthy as an
That's a natural one.
That's a crit.
That'd be a fumble.
Hang on.
Crit fail. Love it.
Something is cursing me today.
Did you trip over something?
Shame.
Right. So
Shame.
you try and make your way stealthily down the stairs, and you're not used to the way they lay out staircases on ships, so you sort of miss the first step and end up tumbling down and landing at the bottom of the stairs on the bottom of the lower deck with a thump.
Smooth.
Fucking Tom Cruise up in this bitch, man.
Yeah.
So
This
as
might be useful. I'm going to pull myself up and I'm going to sort of sit there and hold my head as if it's like, I've just bashed it.
right as you do this,
Sorry?
as you do that, this door opens and you see Urs stick his head out, sees you at the bottom of the stairs holding your head, and he just shuts the door.
Fine. I'm going to venture back up. I know which room he's in now.
I was gonna say, that's
That was the
convenient.
whole point of doing this anyway.
That was the whole. Okay.
There's a
Mission
stealth way-
accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Not.
Yeah.
Failed successfully.
Yeah.
I know which room he's in. That's all I wanted.
Are you seriously going to make me use all of my crit fail sound effects in this one game?
Yeah. Right, I'm going to venture back to bed. I know where he is. It's a task for tomorrow.
Okay. All right, so you venture back to bed. What, anyone else doing anything? Jeff, Pandak?
Yeah, I went. I was reading for ages and.
Okay.
As a half elf, I don't actually have to sleep as long as everybody else, so I'm going to take the shortest possible sleep period and spend the rest of my time on deck looking for floaty figures and spectral undead things.
Okay.
You don't sleep, meditate. You meditate like.
Something like that.
Fair enough. I mean, you wander around the deck. Give me a stealth check, please.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is not going to go well.
That's how you do it.
They were.
Okay, so you wander around the deck. You don't seem to disturb anybody. Camney's snoring his head off up on the prow. You don't see anything. I mean, you can't really. I mean, you are half elf. You can't see anything out on the ocean. The ghost spectral figures have passed. You don't see anything new.
Good. No undead. Let's keep it that way.
Okay, right. The next morning, you all meet up for your breakfast. Is there anything in particular you want to do outside of the normal? You've got a routine going now. You meet in the mess. You shoot the breeze with the other dwarfs. This is the third day now. You're sort of running out of conversation. It's now just down to sort of nods and morning. Feeling good? Yeah.
We kind of estimated like 9 days for travel, right?
9 days. Yeah.
I sleep for 6 days.
Okay.
I take a long nap. Yeah. Having now I'm aware that we're not getting any more undead, and that the narrative needs moving along. I pick up War and Peace and begin to read it.
Okay. So, Davil, I'm going to give the opportunity. You seem to be wanting to do stuff. So, if you want to wake up early to do anything before any of the normal routines go ahead, feel free.
No, I want the routines to go ahead because that means the crew will be engaged normally.
Yep.
So when the crew and Urs are in the top deck or the main deck, then I should be nicking down to the lower deck and entering Urs's room.
Okay. Give me a stealth check, please.
Now this is where I start messing up. I wish there was an easy way to move stuff around on this. So you can't move stuff out the window, so I have to keep bringing up. Yay!
Okay, you managed to make your way down to the lower deck without anyone noticing you. There's currently no one in the lower deck. Everyone seems to be up above. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm gonna try the door.
It's locked. The Urs's door.
Yep.
No, it's locked.
I'm gonna pick the lock.
Okay, so you've currently got proficiency with your so you've got proficiency with your thieves tools, haven't you? You
Yeah, I
are
think so.
proficient. So, and you also have expertise in your thieves tools. So your proficiency bonus is doubled. So your proficiency bonus is currently 2.
Yeah.
So can you make a sleight of hand check for me, please?
Nice.
Okay, so that's 19 because we're adding double your proficiency on. You insert the tools in. You've got your torque wrench in. Yes, we know the words for things. You put the torque wrench in.
This is probably the most exact lock picking roleplay ever.
I want to know every single detail of how this.
You notice
at least 6 rolls.
it feels like
Tell me about tumblers.
it feels like a cheap lock. You don't notice any spool pins or any mushroom pins. Yes, chat, we know. And click, it opens.
Right, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna have a quick neb
Hold
around.
on. Before you
sorry,
go in, I
is
expect a
Phil
full report on the
showing
security of this room.
Phil just showing off lock picking equipment.
Ready for any occasion, mate.
Oh no, I need to stop and make a quick woodcut to show
Yeah.
put in my report.
So they're not particularly. They look homemade thieves' tools. They don't look like they've been made by anyone, any artisan. They're very rough, but they've done the job. They've opened the lock. You managed to get inside.
Cool.
So you see, I mean, you can see there's a bed and there is a chest.
Okay, I'm gonna have a quick look at the chest, looking for any traps on it.
Okay, give me a perception check. Is it perception? Yeah, perception check. You don't see any sign of any traps on it.
Right, I'm gonna just lift it up
It's locked.
and see what's in there.
As a quick clarification to
locked.
the rules.
It's locked,
because
yeah.
I used to
Right,
play in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
Quick clarification. How do you now search for secret trap or secret doors? Is there a skill for that, or is it just simple perception?
There is passive perception, which everyone has, which means you will automatically spot something if the DC is equal to or below your passive perception, or you can actively look for it.
Okay.
And make
All
a
right.
roll.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Right, I'm keeping the ears up just in case anybody walks in. I really should have got one of the other guys to look for me and.
Well, I mean, especially the dude who was like, "Yo, go nick this dude's shit."
Okay, I'm gonna use these tools.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you managed to open the chest. You find in the chest some clothes, a small coin purse. Nothing else. Which coin
USB
purse?
stick,
You don't know.
USB stick.
How heavy is it?
You gonna pick it up?
Just gently, yeah.
Okay, you pick it up. It's fairly light.
Just have a very quick neb in it.
Okay, you have a look. There seems to be about 10 or 15 coins in there, mixture of copper and silver.
No, it's not worth it. Put it back.
Okay.
Close the chest. Lock it again.
Okay. You do notice a
That's
very-
my roll for lock.
a-
Sorry.
the lock it just engages. You don't need to roll for that.
Yeah.
You'd notice a small bottle of wine in the corner,
Oh,
This
what
is what you
the
came for.
unopened.
chest?
Steal his fucking wine.
Not in the chest, just in the corner of the room. It wasn't in the chest.
Take his wine. Take his
Oh, I
wine.
just realised the problem. I should have left water in there instead. No.
You are in the lower decks. The barrels of fresh water are down there.
I've got a water skin. Don't you have a water skin on you?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you-
Is there a
If
bottle
you
of
steal his
that-
wine and replace it with water, I don't know.
What you need to do is drink the wine, yeah, then pour water into the bottle, and then go back.
Do, I have a
Get a
similar, do we
glass.
have a similar bottle to the one that the wine's in?
Not on you, know. You all bought kegs of rum, so
I want him to know we stole it.
No, that's not the way I work. No, I'm going to get out. I'm going to lock the door behind me, and then I'm going to go up and try and find a similar bottle.
okay.
Go all that way, get all that far, and then not nick it
Okay, so
because I can.
where are you heading?
Don't forget to give him one of these. Don't forget to give him one of these. It's an official receipt. If you
Is that-
really
is
want
that the
to know you've
Discworld?
stolen it,
I
yes.
didn't
Yes.
take anything. I didn't take anything. I'm going to go back to the stairs, and then I'm going to go back up here.
Okay. You look around. You don't see any empty bottles out.
Right, it's something to keep an eye. Actually, no. Maybe there's still nobody around, and I can't hear anybody. I might nip into the lower deck and see whether I can find anything in there.
Okay. So you're coming back down here?
Yeah, around here-ish.
Okay. Give me a. I don't want to keep doing perception, but that's what you're doing. Yeah, give me a perception check. No, an investigation. Give me an investigation check.
Oh. Sorry.
Which is good because you're on 4th.
Ah, there you go, back on form.
No, you don't see any bottles like that.
Right, that's
Lots
it.
of kegs, lots of bulk storage, but you get the impression that this is like a personal storage and it's not something that you'd find in the hold. The hold is for cargo.
Right, unless I nip into the captain's, and that's not in the bet. So no, I'm not going to nick the wine.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to the middle deck, and that's it. I'm not going to bother. And no matter how much that pisses Cam off.
Are you going to let him know what you did?
No, I'm going to tell him. Just to make it, just to dig it even worse.
Fair enough. Did you come up to the deck to tell me?
I need to write up my my report as well to say, you know, the weakness of the lock. Easily picked locks, easily picked chest locks.
Yes.
You know.
No security measures on the door.
Int
When you-
H1 authentication bypass. Yes.
Yeah.
So do you come up to the deck to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm up on the top deck. Remember this?
That's what you said.
okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm
You're
not gonna
spending.
tell you on the top deck.
I'm
Not
up
when
on the
Nurse
top
is
deck,
around.
like doing physical workouts that seem to be reminiscent of chucking things overboard.
The frog.
Are you
throw.
in that sort of, you know, in the 80s action one film type thing where you got the main character sort of oiled up and like lifting weights to
yeah,
try and
yeah,
make
yeah.
him look sort of slightly homoerotic?
Yeah, yeah.
Montage.
Yeah.
No,
Full montage.
I'm not gonna tell you just yet. I'll wait till the evening.
Cool.
Okay, so evening comes. Yeah, you're all again in the mess, going through your evening routine of drinking and
I'm no
eating the
longer
same. You're getting fairly bored of it now. It's the same dried meat and cheese. You've run out of bread yesterday. It is now meat and cheese.
It's a pity nobody took cooking.
Kind of wish there was some ghosts to eat.
A fishing rod would have been nice.
I really like meat and cheese.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's boring after so long.
We're all low carb here.
Yeah, you need carbs for a decent diet.
Hold the cheese.
I So I'm just going to mention to Cat as long as our adventurer friends aren't in there. If it's only us, then I'll mention to Cam. If not, then I'll wait.
Okay, well, certainly the dwarves are in there at the beginning of the evening, but they go off to their bunks fairly early now. You get the impression that they weren't expecting this kind of monotonous, just sitting around waiting. They thought the adventurer's life was going to be a lot more exciting, and it's quickly dawning on them that it's a lot of sitting around waiting and not really doing anything. So they retire quite quickly. So you're now in there, just yourselves. None of the crew are in there.
That Urs is a very boring person.
And poor by the sounds of things.
Nothing in his place. He just had a couple of few coins and some clothes. That was it.
Nothing else.
A wee bottle of wine, but it wasn't worth taking.
Camney appears exceptionally unimpressed. You could steal his wine. The deal was you steal his thing, you steal his alcohol. Explicitly, you steal his alcohol, and then I stand in the way of things trying to hit you. So,
Yeah, but
I mean, it's fine. But having not stolen the thing, understand now that when things tried to hit you, I'm going to actively step out of the way.
But there's you standing in the way, and there's also me stealing his wine with no replacement when we're stuck on a boat.
That wasn't the deal. Consequences aren't my problem.
I remind everybody that I still don't like the sea, and being thrown overboard for the death of a bottle of wine would not make me happy. And I don't swim well in full armor, so I have to agree with our trustworthy friend. He's actually done the trustworthy thing this time. So,
what do you mean this time?
I'm critical of everyone, so live with it.
Right.
I mean, the
I'll say
relatively
it's-
positive thing is that we found out that we didn't find any obvious evidence that Urs is a double agent or anything,
Other than his weird accent.
which I'm still not convinced about. But yeah,
I don't buy his accent. I have to agree with Camney. I don't buy his accent.
I'm very self-conscious
He can't
right now.
stick to one location. I mean, first he was French German, then he became full French. I mean, come on. There's something wrong with the guy.
Alsace-Lorraine to Frankfurt in like 4 seconds. Yeah.
He'll be Belgian the next time. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm getting down through the jack, so you never know.
Maybe Dutch.
Maybe. You want some stroopwafels?
Right. I think we're going on to pressing the fast forward button.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's starting to feel like Wheel of Time, this.
Right, Cam.
No, nobody's put their hands on their hips and pulled their hair.
No,
I
yes.
start twirling my mustache.
It's going to be lithe and panther-like if you're going for the Howard sort of Conan the Barbarian type tropes.
So we finished off our sea journey.
Right, so Camney, give me a perception check, please.
Cool. Nailed it.
Okay.
Absolute pros, brother.
Nothing of note happens. So you make your way to the end of your journey, with Camney messing with Urs the entire trip.
Every day.
Every day. It's
We're going to have a real problem getting back on this.
it's getting
boat.
quite tense by the end, but you
Find another boat.
do make it to Eyes Across at the end of the 9 days.
I thank our kind hosts for their journey
I don't.
and leave any leftover rum with the crew.
Okay.
My final tally was 4 birds and 1 fish that I tiddled on from the top deck over the 9 days.
Okay. Did you happen to know what kind of fish it was, or no? Not your area, just it was a fish.
Not one.
Yeah.
On the way back, it's going to be like a fish jumps out of the ocean and crashes into Pandak's head.
Revenge is mine.
Okay, the temperature has steadily dropped since you left Palebank Village, yet it seems to grow colder still as you step off the ramp of the Remoras onto Foreign. Through windy snow, you see fern-lined tents and yurts arranged in a large camp. Campfires are whipped by the wind, with dwarves and elves huddled close to the flames. "Don't worry, it'll cool down here eventually," a joking voice bellows over the snow. A female dwarf with a shaggy mane of unkept hair bows to you. "Morgo Delwer at your service. Welcome to Islecross."
All hail,
Hello.
well met.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Who are we supposed to meet here, guys?
Ortho Mustache. I don't know. Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, is there a Mr. Mustache around?
Sorry, didn't mean to draw that. Can you erase that?
What did you...
What did you
Oh,
draw?
yes.
Sorry.
Where's
I've
the...
just found the drawing tools. You're so lucky I haven't done my normal.
There we go. No dongs.
Yeah, this is where everyone does that now.
Bolton the floodgate, man.
Right, you see Morgo is waiting for you at the end of the gangplank.
Hey,
Hello.
Hi there.
Yeah, I usher the dwarf, or I usher Pandak forward. It's one of yours. Go chat to him.
Yeah,
Her.
go on.
hey.
Her. So,
Chat to her.
so
How are you doing?
Morgo welcomed you off the ship. Morgo gestures to the groups of dwarves and elves huddled and chatting around campfires. They're planning expeditions to find Eor's lost treasures, he says. That's what this whole place is about. If you ain't exploring, you ain't banking gold. The dwarf stops in front of a large fur-lined yurt. You can stay here. Belong to a full witch elf named Bertrand who came here looking for adventure. He found the inside of a saber-toothed tiger instead. Should be some food and the like in there. It's all yours now.
Thank you very
Free
much.
stuff. I've always wanted a yurt. I am happy.
Before you go, could you answer a question about the River Inferno?
Yes. Yes, what question do you have?
Is it worth the journey, other than for the warmth?
She looked you up and down? I wouldn't.
It wouldn't. Is it
I
dangerous?
wouldn't.
As Pandak's asking this, I kind of hear behind him, and they know it. Yeah, is it any good?
And she looks up at you. I really wouldn't. No.
Fuck it.
We hear tales of
Definitely cold.
icebergs floating
Like-
on the lava. Is that true?
I have been close to it, and yes, that is true. I have seen that.
That doesn't sound like any normal lava to me.
Welcome to Islecross.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, this is.
If you want usual, this isn't the place for you, but this is why we're all here.
This is
That's
going to be
one
the
of the fun-
Kool-Aid River. It's going to be Kool-Aid, isn't it? It's
I thought the lava river. I'm up for the lava river. That sounds fucking great.
I get the feeling she's a bit like, I've seen it before. It's rubbish. It's Marvin the
not
Paranoid
always great.
Dwarf.
How many stars on TripAdvisor did this lava river get?
Yeah, someone get on Yelp.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, it's time to get our land legs back. We'll set up a fire inside the yurt. Well, not inside the yurt, outside. To get everything warm.
Okay.
Set fire to the yurt.
No. And then I'm going to have a quick explore around the village and see what's what and where's what.
Okay. Well,
Does this camp have a blacksmith?
no. You look around as you've got off, and it is a camp. It is. You don't see any sort of blacksmith. You don't see any sort of commerce. It's just groups of tents. There is a larger yurt to the northeast of the village, but other than that, no. It is definitely a frontier camp.
Right, I see two big ones. It's like there's
One in the middle, one
There's that one, and then
Mhm.
there's that one. So I'm just going to have a quick nab. I'm going to walk past them and see who's around and about. And I'm
Well,
just gonna head
you're over here. This is Bertrand.
Oh,
now
cool.
your yurt.
Okay, that's
So I'm
our
going to
yurt.
sort of do a route. Oh, I can't do.
Are you actually going to go into Bertrand's yurt or your yurt first?
Yeah,
might
See
as
what's in there.
Yeah, we'll do that first.
Okay. Morgo says, "Well, there you go. Fill your boots. If you need anything, come and find me." And she walks off. Once you go inside, and you see what's left of Bertrand's supplies set up in the hut. Do you want to go through it and see what you can
Oh,
find?
absolutely. Yeah, have a
Yeah,
rummage.
might be something
Okay.
of value in there.
So you find a crate in the yurt. You open it up. There are 50 days worth of rations, a 50-foot silk rope, a blanket, a grappling hook, a miner's pick, and a book.
Okay, am I keeping track of these guys?
Yep. Well volunteered.
Bear with me then. Okay, so grappling hook.
Is there a 10-foot pole? There has to be a 10-foot pole.
There is no 10-foot pole. Let me
Or is that only basic?
put it in
It's
chat.
That's
silk,
the original.
silk rope, you said.
I'll put it in chat. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
what
it's there in the chat.
what exactly is the pull level of that, or how much weight will that hold?
Let's just call it a rope. It's made out of silk. It's thinner than you would expect from hempen
Okay.
rope, but it seems functional enough.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Is there anything special about the blanket?
Nope, just looks like a standard blanket. It looks fairly well made. You get the impression looking through this stuff that Bertrand came out here with a lot of resource. Obviously didn't do
And
him
the
as
pick,
very good.
miner's pick is just normal?
Yeah.
What about the
It's
book?
not used. It's unused, the miner's pick.
What about the book?
What languages do you speak?
I speak Elvish, Gnomish, Halfling, Draconic.
Okay, so the book is titled in Elvish. The title of the book is Adventure Sexy. Impress Potential Lovers with Great Deeds by Scanlan Shortholt.
Okay, is this 50 Shades of Dungeon?
It's more like a how to pick up girls book.
Okay, I see. All right, that one's going in the fire, guys.
Yep.
Yep,
sure you
into
don't
the
need it?
fire. Yeah, no, into the fire it goes. That kind of garbage, basically, we
Give it to the
eradicate
bard.
from
Give it
all
to the
realms. So yeah, that's gonna be firelighters. That one.
It's when you find out it's the bard's own book. Don't burn my work.
Okay, so you've been through your yurt. What would you like to do now?
I want to have a look at the bigger yurts. I'm basically going to have a walk around the village, and I'm going to sort of head there first because it's the closest, and then
Okay.
sort of walk around and then head to that one. And basically just have a neb, see who's around, you know, just generally see what the lay of the land is.
It's very cold. People are tending to keep within their own yurts. That no one's walking around, not by choice. When you do see people walking around, they come out of one place, they head to another, and they go inside. People do not want to linger outside. And there are a couple of elves and dwarves who are hunkering around the open fires.
Yeah.
It's sort of early afternoon at the moment.
I'm going to try and strike out a conversation with some of the dwarfs around the local fires then.
Okay. What do you say?
You know, hi, I'm Davil. I'm just got here. You know, how's things going? You know, I'm new. I'm new here. Help me.
Things are fine, stranger. We're all the professor's off on one of his expeditions. But if you need anything, Murgo will helpfully sort you out. We're all sort of get ready to go off and see if we can help him. He's been away a while, so we're maybe gonna go and see if he's all right.
Where's he gone?
I don't actually know.
So will Murgo know that?
No, I possibly, yes.
due to the kind of being in a more slightly colder, slightly harsher environment, Camney's somewhat friendlier demeanor seems to have withered away. So wandering around the camp, kind of in looking. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Tom.
No, his cat was going off. I think you pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, I did. Apologies.
I'd like to kind of assess some of the other people in the area, but not like them individually, but whether or not they seem prepared for this kind of environment, having the kind of experience that I do with my character that was living in cold, harsh environments, whether they look prepared, kind of like a survival check, kind of whether I think they'd make it out here, whether this looks like they're even remotely prepared for what we're...
Yeah, everyone you see about seems to be set up for the environment. They seem grizzled and yes, prepared. Yeah.
Cool.
You haven't seen sight of your friends from the ship yet. You don't know if they've come off, but everyone else seems like they've either been there a while or they knew what they were getting into when they got there. Yeah. Everyone's wrapped in furs and multiple layers, and it's very hard to tell who's a dwarf, who's an elf, who might be human. It's just clump of fur, hood, cloaks. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyone sharing tales at the camp of treasures found, riches, locations? I mean, directions, or are we basically just in their mountains?
No one's actively sharing any stories with you, and everyone seems to have their own task, their own direction, and seem to be getting on with it. There's not a lot of revelry, if that's what the question you're asking.
I'm actually trying to figure out sort of which direction of travel we need to go from this camp to find anything of interest. I expressed that my deity is interested in me finding holy relics, and basically the floating city seems like a good candidate. And I don't really... Gold does not interest me, but I'm looking for things of wonder in the mountains, and I'm wondering if anyone might point me in the right direction. You can have the gold as it drops out from what I'm not looking for.
Well, friend, if you're going to be giving gold away, you will find plenty of people here to take it off you. As far as holy, I wouldn't say there's much holy about Aor. No, not holy. No. You're asking as a random stranger that you accost on the street. And...
If they're engaging me in conversation, I ask if anybody has heard of strange apparitions or spectral figures appearing in the area.
Oh yes, you talk to anyone around here, you'll find 3 or 4 tales of strange goings on out in Islecross. I mean, that's why we're all here.
Okay. And these spectral creatures, do they seem malevolent in any way?
Well, nobody that's come back has said anything about malevolent creatures, but
okay.
I assume people who don't come back will have a different story.
Fair enough. That's okay. Fair point.
So I'm just sort of out of character a bit. Who is the guy we're meant to be looking for?
You were told to look for Orvo Mustave. He was a companion of Ergon, and you believe he was the companion who was with him when he discovered the blue vials.
Okay.
You've also been given the name of the buyer, who can arrange to get things back to Palebank.
Okay, I'm going to ask about Orvo of these dwarfs then.
Oh, sure. Yes, if you go to the northeast of the town, the big yurt. Actually, no. What am I thinking? That's the buyer. Orvo. If you look to the very south of the village, the last yurt on the south of the village, that's Orvo.
What, that one?
Yes. If you go down to that tent there, you'll find Orvo.
Okay, I'm going to go down to the tent, rap on the canvas.
Okay. A campfire burns in the front of this small tent whose flaps are open. Inside the tent sits a young dwarf whose face is scarred as though scratched by a large claw. A short sword is casually laid across his lap as he warms his outstretched hands. Hello, yes.
Hi.
Going in.
Are you Orvo?
I am.
We've,
Can I help you?
We've come from. Oh shit! I can't read my own writing.
Somewhere over the
Over
Pale
your
bank.
we
What's the name
came
of the
from
village?
chapter 1.
Yes.
I've got written down Pellband Village for some reason.
I think it's gone through about 3 or 4 names, but it's Pale Bank Village.
Sorry?
Pale Bank
Bank.
Village.
Pellbank.
Pale Bank.
Bank.
Pellbank, right.
Mhm.
We come from Pellbank on behalf of Elro to investigate something, and he told us to go on to you and talk to you when we got over.
Okay, why would Elro send you to me? What could I know?
Well, several of the people who came back have seemed to have come down with a strange disease or illness
Who?
due to something they got from here. It wasn't exactly. There was somebody called Ergon.
Ergon's sick?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it seems to be related to something that they picked up on one of the recent treasure hunts. So we've come over here to see whether we can find out what and why, and maybe find a cure.
So Ergon's sick. You're hoping to cure him. You think that where we went was where he contracted this illness, and you think you can make him better?
Possibly. There was a sort of vial of blue powder, which seemed to be what caused the disease.
The vials. Oh, yes, I remember those. We picked those up in a place called Sal's Vault. It was in the glacial region. It was a good trek north of here. About, let me think, at least about 200 miles northwest of here.
That's a long way.
That is a long way.
How do you manage to get there? Do you have dogs or something?
No, we sort of slogged through the glacier ourselves. We couldn't afford animals, so we just walked ourselves. This area doesn't really suit itself to pack animals. I suppose if you bought dogs, you might use them, but I don't know anyone here who uses them. We just wander and see what we can find.
Wonder. Okay.
Wander 200 miles.
I do remember this route. It was
wander 200 miles.
It was partially submerged in the glacier. There was something about it. It had sort of collapsed into the glacier, and it seemed to be coming out of the water. But yes, he was at least 200 miles northwest of here. At least that's why we knew it was going to be so good. Not very many people managed to make it out that far. That's where we know the good stuff is.
Camney seems almost not just unfazed, but seemingly cheerful about the idea of hoofing it 200 miles in the cold.
Give me
Yeah,
a
let's do this.
piggyback.
This sounds great. Let's go.
I ask, are the paths that you traveled to get to this place treacherous? Are we talking sort of mountain paths only fit for dwarves, or?
You do have the ring of someone who's come from civilization. There aren't any paths here. It's what you see. You make your own paths. The only reason we found this place is we noticed some ice mephits were wandering around the area where we found this vault, and we just followed them. They seem to be attracted to it.
Can I do a nature check? Do I know anything about ice methods?
You can do an arcane check.
Okay.
Yeah, you've heard this before. They are from the Feywild. They are sort of small ice elemental creatures.
Dangerous, malevolent, or just?
Yes, they are. They definitely aren't friendly,
Okay.
and they can be dangerous. Not particularly, but you've heard that they can congregate in packs.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want to tangle with them, and you think that they might try and mess with you, should you try to.
Try sort of like bees. All right.
A bit bigger than bees. Think sort of chihuahua size. Chihuahua size little ice demons.
Okay.
Oh,
Engaging.
So
Engaging
what
with
was
Portal, when you say you found these, what did you call them? Or these things?
Mephits, ice mephits.
So when you found these mephits, how did you find your way to where these mephits happened to be? Were you just traveling haphazardly, or did you happen to follow them all the way from camp?
No, we were sort of heading out in an area where we knew was sort of pushing the boundaries of where our colleagues had been searching. There's no point going somewhere where him down the road has already picked it clean. You're not going to make your fortune doing that. So we sort of
think you could mark on our map the route you took until you found these methods.
Have you got a map?
Ah,
You think
case
we
in
could
point.
steal
Where
your
can we
map?
buy a map?
I've
Do you think we could purchase a map from you? Maybe the map travel north.
how much?
You-
Are you prepared to guide us?
I was planning on heading back. Actually, I found everything I wanted to, and I'm planning on heading back.
So you wouldn't need your map then, right?
Give me a persuasion check. Anyone who wants to try and do it.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
I can do that because I'm not bad with that either.
Give me the map.
Apparently you're wrong.
Oh, Jeff.
So Jeff piles in.
Yeah, you know,
Just
give
me
the
the
map
map.
to us guys. We need it. You don't.
Insult him into giving us the map.
You know what? You've got the aura adventure around you. I think you, young tiefling. I think you could do good round here. I will sell you the map for 5 gold pieces, and I will mark on there the area where we found Sal's vault.
Well, normally I would argue a toss for 5 gold for amounts of expensive, but fuck it. You can have 5 gold for that.
Deal. And he spits in his hand, holds it out to you.
Cup his balls.
With all the fur he's wearing, it would probably take you a good 5 or 10 minutes to find them. So I don't know. Oh, well, I've heard about you lot from the Menagerie Coast. I didn't realise the stories were quite as true, but very well. And he rummages through his stuff and he pulls the map out. He opens it up and he will actually point out to you on the map where he found the vault. So Sal's vault is approximately in this area.
Oh, right up next to that river we're interesting. Yeah.
If you head over here and look for the ice mephits, I'm sure they will lead you to the same place we did.
Is there any way that you could travel along the river? We hear tales of ice boats.
I wouldn't. I didn't. We walked.
Okay.
I've heard the same stories. I trust my feet. I don't.
Okay.
I don't trust rivers of fire.
Hint taken.
I mean, look outside. Rivers of fire out here. Now, if someone found rivers of fire with banks of gold, I'd be interested. But no banks of gold. Just rivers of fire. I don't do rivers of fire.
So what was in the vault? Was it just the where you found the files?
To be honest with you, we didn't make it that far in. We found the entrance. We entered. It was surprisingly well lit, and considering it's 800 years old, very intact.
Lit. How lit?
Fucking
Like
lit.
lit. There was light. There was lights on the walls, and they were working. It was amazing.
Okay, fair enough.
And we found a stone chest in the second chamber we were in, and that's where we found the vials and various other things we found in there. I think there was a statue. But while we were in there, we were rather rudely interrupted by what I can only describe as a walking suit of armor, and it seemed upset that we were there. So we left rather quickly. We grabbed what we could find and we left.
Okay.
Well, at the very least, we can travel westward till we reach the lava river and follow it northwards.
You could. I would keep it at a reasonable distance, but yes, you could definitely follow the river north for about 200 miles. I don't know how fast you plan on travelling, but you travel about
It's not very
about
quick.
200 miles. Look for the mephits, and I'm sure you'll find the same ruins that we did, or if not, maybe something better.
Out of curiosity, in your travel north, did you follow the river or did you follow some other route?
We just wanted to go as far north as we could. Yes, we didn't follow the river specifically, but we just went to an area that we knew wasn't explored. So we just went north, decided not to climb the mountains. That was the only real thing we did. I'm sure there's probably stuff up there, but we don't do climbing. It's much easier to find the stuff in the glacial areas.
Sure. So in your decision to navigate around the mountains and on your way to the vault, did you encounter any hostile creatures? Any beasts?
No, we keep track of some wildling bands, but we keep away from them. They keep away from us. It seems to work. We just didn't go looking for trouble. We just want to make our money and leave. We're not in it for the glory. We're not in it for fighting and conquest. We just want to find some good things that we can sell to the buyer.
This buyer. Do we know much about this person? We haven't met them yet.
You've not met the buyer, no. You know that they're an elf, and
they're just called the buyer.
Yes, that's right. Yes, the buyer.
Okay. And is the buyer interested in all antiquities, or are they picky?
If it's Aeorian, the buyer will have it of you.
Fair enough.
And the buyer has coin on hand.
Okay.
Cool. Should we head north?
Let's head north. Time to head north.
Okay. And at that point, I think that's a good place to call it.
Okay.
Because if we go much further, then we'll end up with another hour in. So.
Yeah, sounds good.
Is there anything you want to do in Sylrinya before you leave?
Obviously, take more rations from the stock in the yurt. I want to up the number of rations that we're carrying. So can we distribute the rations in that yurt amongst us?
Yeah, so there was 50 rations, so you got 10 days each.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 10 rations on me already, which we don't seem to reduce, so I'll just stick with 12 up.
Cool. No, other than that, I think I'm sorted.
Good.
How do I change my icon on the main map screen? Just as a point.
There's an option right at the bottom. It says as
Below
on the right hand side. If you
bit,
change that
as.
to your character name, you will change the icon.
Nothing's happening when I click that. Weird. Okay.
So it's basically a drop down menu. I've got Dave or Davil Osterville. So I change that and
Yeah, so you can talk as your username or your character name.
Yeah, everybody else has got like a figure for theirs,
Yeah.
whereas I've got like that little red square thing, and I just can't seem to make it disappear, and it won't.
on the chat box on the bottom right.
Yeah.
So you can see this one is as Dave,
Yeah.
and this one is as Davil. And it's just on the bottom right hand side there's an as, and there's a drop down box which should have your
Yeah.
username and
So
your
it says
character.
as you drop it down. Yeah.
That's
There
it.
we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Simple.
Spot on.
And I get to say that you smell a wee.
So I can say.
That's true. Now I know that I can draw freehand on this.
You can draw freehand on this. So if you ever want to do any tactical NFL type stuff, plays
Yeah, no, that's me.
obligatory.
That wasn't me.
Obligatory, yeah. There we go. Let's transition to the full screen so Twitch viewers can.
I was going to say, is it still on Twitch?
Oh yeah, we're still streaming. Yeah, we're still live.
How many people do we have watching this?
We have 3 viewers. Hi, chat. The party are now
people
drawing. Oh God, Giant Jeff. We now have a Giant Jeff. 1 turgid penis and 1 erect penis.
Wait, that's a penis?
God, I hope so. Demonetized.
Right, are we playing again next Sunday?
If everyone's up for it, yeah.
I'm up for
Right.
it. Yeah,
It's in my only social life at the moment.
it is
Yeah.
mine too. So yeah, don't take it away.
Okay. Well, I've got material for at least another, got like 1 or 2 sessions, and I'm working on background stuff for you to work into once you've finished this adventure. As long as you don't
Cool.
go completely off the rails, please don't go completely off the rails.
I
Give me some indication
we're
of where you're
going-
going first, so I can
Fucking right off the rails.
prep some
Yeah,
material.
You know the plot
First
only
thing we're
makes
going to
sense
do is
if
we're
it's
all going to go in
party.
different directions. Yeah,
You-
half the party is going to go
Yeah,
back to the original.
no, no.
Split the party, and I'll pick half of it
We're
to kill.
splitting into 5 distinct parties.
I mean,
This-
worst
this is
case,
I
just
you've got-
fucking hate you guys.
worst case, you've got a couple of tournament level games I can also run. So, but
Cool.
if
Oh
it's
yeah,
gonna be
so
great-
if when you get to this adventure you want to take a break to a different one and have Dave GM, yeah.
Can I just ask a group a question that my wife just asked me? She asked, "Am I winning?" And I didn't know the answer.
No.
Am I winning?
You're not dead yet.
there isn't an easy win or lose.
Okay, so
You're
yes,
progressing the story is what you're doing.
What are your goals in this?
not die.
Then you're winning.
That's usually
Yeah,
a very good
you're,
goal.
You're winning
We're
so far in
winning.
that case, yeah.
We're definitely winning. I was allowed to tombstone a frog, and John insulted one to death.
Yeah.
Two, more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to
I'm a
work around
dwarf.
what it is your characters want to do, and I will write that into the storyline.
I'd like
So
to tombstone
you
a
give me
frog.
the material, and I'll give you adventures with that material.
Cool.
Which is why, if you look at your character sheets, at least a few of you have now got backstory. So read them.
Oh, backstory.
Alright.
Yeah.
That makes me.
Plot.
Where do I find that? I don't
Uh,
have one.
Under the bio.
you have, yeah, Camney, yours is a bit brief, I'm afraid, but it'll be in bio if it's anywhere.
I'll write
Yeah.
one.
Actually, Pandak, Phil, most of your backstory we've actually spoken about,
Yeah.
but I've not annotated it into your
Me
character
neither.
sheet yet. Jeff's got some backstory. Thokel's got some backstory.
Have I put pictures of my face all over? I don't even know how I did that.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's yeah, you have, yeah. It actually looks disturbingly. It's like you, but with like all the filters. It's like Dave, but all the Snapchat filters, all the Instagram filters. A good fortnight with the Vogue Photoshop team.
Yeah, I'm airbrushed. That's airbrush me.
Yeah. Just got horns.
What?
He's just as pale as me, in all fairness.
He is, yeah. He's, for a tiefling, he's a bit pale, yeah.
Northern.
Exactly, he's a northern tiefling, yeah. That's
Can
why
we
he's a
actually make up
bard.
our own backstory.
If you want
by the
to,
way?
if you want to.
Cool.
As-
All right.
the
In
only
that
thing
case-
is, as long as if it treads on stuff I've already done, then let me know how it's changed, and I'll factor in the change. But yeah, if you've got a backstory that you want, then let me know, and I'll put it in, and I can use it to write other hooks for other adventure. So
Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
but yeah, I've got a couple of hooks in. So I've already hooked Dave with stuff, and I've hooked some stuff for Pandak. But if any of you want to give me any sort of backstory I can work with, and Jeff has got some story.
Just scorned lovers, right?
Well,
Ah,
my
yeah.
additional features
There's
and
a-
traits. Classic.
You what?
Massive. My additional features and traits.
Yes.
It's just classic. It's massive whore.
I thought you were going to say massive something else.
No,
So you're playing your sim
massive
then?
whore.
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but be on the lookout for magical items that may feed into certain characters' predilections or character or
Your rubber
things.
fist of doom.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I have material. So, like I said, I've got prepared material at the pace you're going, probably for another 1 or 2 full sessions, and then after that, I've got hooks that I can create other stuff for.
Cool.
Cool.
Chat does say that because they are still alive, they are winning at life, which you got to agree with. Nowadays,
Absolutely.
if you're still alive, you are in fact winning at life.
I'm happy with that as a pretty high level of victory.
Chat also says at least one of you needs cat ears. Maybe Dave. I think maybe Devil needs cat ears. I don't know if that's something that.
Yep. Cat ears for Dave.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hold on.
Oh God.
What is going on here?
This is always
He's going to
scares
come
me.
back. In his
I do not want to see Little John, okay?
Mickey Mouse ears. Okay.
It's as close as I can do.
Sell out.
I can always put my war helmet back on.
Okay. Yep. That's the thing. That's.
Always put Cthulhu
Is
back
that
on the
a
shoulder.
llama head?
Am I the only person who doesn't have a mouse ears or helmet or llama hat and
I don't.
bison cap or Cthulhu?
I feel left out.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody doesn't have Cthulhu in their office.
What do you have on your desk?
I've got a Lego Apollo 11
I've got
Eagle
that.
Lander.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I've got that model too. Brill.
I've got unpainted Warhammers.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Lots
finished
of
any
them.
yet?
No, I've not painted any of these fuckers yet.
I think they're worth more if you don't paint them. Is that right? They're worth more if you
Got a
just
Nerf
leave them
gun
alone?
for some reason.
Hmm?
I got a Nerf gun for some reason.
Oh, the days of the old employer. Nerf wars every fucking...
Disapproving Nerf wars, I seem to remember as well.
Well, that was when somebody borrowed my Nerf shotgun and shot the boss. So...
Hmm.
I've shot Dave with a Nerf gun.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
I've shot Ken with a Nerf gun before.
Yeah.
Many times.
But this wasn't when the said boss came over to tell people to stop firing Nerf guns because he's getting a bit too fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was.
Double down.
It was a
Stop
different
shooting Nerf
time.
guns.
There was a lot less dildos in the RS office than
Yeah.
recent times. And on that note, should we call it a night?
Quality
Night?
optic.
Yeah.
Aye. It's probably time to call it a night.
Cool, thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
GG.
Oh, apparently someone did something with a stack of pennies. Someone put a stack of pennies in a Nerf gun. What?
What?
This is according to
What?
chat.
Knowing who that
Who-
is in the chat, yeah, probably.
I don't
Yeah.
remember the stack of pennies, but I remember the putting the bomb on the end of them and shooting people with hot sauce. That was quite fun.
Oh god, look at all the stuff I've got to clear up on Roll20. Okay, well, yeah. That's me next week then.
You never-
And Dave, definitely go get yourself a pack of these.
Yeah. I ought to.
Yeah.
They're actually
Alright.
quite cool. They look pretty interesting on the inside too.
Yeah, I can't see much in.
No, don't worry about it. But they actually have a carbon sheet, so you actually get 2 parts, so you can actually give a proper receipt.
Because you have resolution, but you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, so you've got no bandwidth.
Yeah,
Fair
you're
enough.
dealing with Welsh internet. It's not good.
I thought
Most
my
guys-
internet was not bad, but my wireless in the house is pretty crap, and I'm actually in the dining room rather than the
Yeah.
room where the wireless works. So,
You look a bit like Max Headroom on full screen.
oh, fair enough.
Meh.
Okay, so chat says if you've got the Nerf Maverick, you can overclock it with a stack of pennies. So again, just thank you for contributing to demonetizing the channel. I will never be able to run ads on this because it will be deemed unsuitable for children. So.
Oh, come on, you're never going to get money from this anyway.
God,
If
no,
anything,
no.
you
I
might
actually
get
used to
any-
get a tiny little bit of cash off my YouTube channel until they changed the rules, so you had to be so big to put ads on it. Because my first pen testing job, I was at a company where there was a heist, an armed heist outside of my office, and I managed to capture the aftermath on it on video and stuck it on YouTube and got some money for having armed police stomping on people's heads in the streets of the Jury Quarter in Birmingham.
Blimey.
But apparently I'm not big enough anymore, so
So no violence.
nah. Go Birmingham. Right then, so next week, same time, same place.
Yep,
So-
same time, same
You'll-
channel.
Head off to Sal's Vault to see if you can find the cure for frigid woe, because you all seem to have forgotten you're trying to cure some people and you just seem to be after gold and stuff, and the kids are dying, but kids. What were they ever going to do?
Love a river. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Oh God, Cammy, I wish you'd have robbed better on that perception check, but maybe next time.
Oh no! Don't tell me that now. You can't end with that.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to end. So see you next week.
All right,
Right,
take
yeah.
it easy, guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right.
Right.